Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am very excited to be here as your keeper. I don't know what I needed to say it in the spoopy voice, but it did not last very long, so you're welcome. Hi. For those of you who don't know who I am Lauren or Random Tuesday, and I've been a player before, but tonight will be my first time bringing these amazing players through a spooky one-shot adventure. They are going to be on a boat, and nothing bad ever happens on a boat. So really, you're in for a lovely 3 hours of these wonderful people just like being their characters and, drinking tea, I guess, or whatever else you would do on a boat. Clearly, I've been on a lot of them in my lifetime. But with that, let us bring these wonderful players onto the screen and have them introduce who they're playing, maybe like a brief little tidbit about who they are and who they're playing, and then I'll kind of have them introduce themselves as we start. So we're gonna go media res in the middle of the action today, because it's a one shot. So none other than the wonderful Becca Scott to start us off.
Random Tuesday, it is my pleasure.
I'm sorry, I forgot, not Becca Scott, Harold Smalls.
That's right, I'm Harold Smalls this evening. I'm an Englishman. I'm 49 years young. I'm grizzled in the face, but I look nice in a vest, a button-up vest. And I'm an archaeologist. I like to dig in the dirt and discover artifacts of ancient cultures.
Very convenient, because there may or may not be artifacts of ancient cultures in today's session.
That's so interesting. That's just the sort of thing I would get on a boat to see. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't get on a boat much. I like to dig in dirt, and there's not enough dirt in the sea.
Have you considered investigating underwater artifacts?
There could be dirt there. The lost city of Atlantis may not be lost forever.
Oh, well then.
Before we go on, hi, Lauren, thank you for coming and guesting as our keeper tonight. It's such a pleasure to have you.
I'm very excited. I'm going to learn how to keep things.
Yes, that is what we do here on the Calyx. We learn to keep things, or maybe lose sanity. And also just got to shout out Chaosium, the publishers of Call of Cthulhu. One, we love them because they publish Call of Cthulhu, and it's an awesome system that it's all I want to play. And also for sponsoring the show and giving us a lovely discount code. Am I pointing the right direction? Obviously, I knew. And if you purchase something on chaosium.com and you use our lovely discount code Calyx2021, you will get 10% off and you will be supporting the show, and we appreciate it oh so much. And without further ado, I will pass it back to Lauren.
Well, I was going to bring in our next lovely player. So now, not Harold. Nay, we have Cynthia Marie joining us. Tell us, Cynthia, who are you playing today? And also, who are you? Why are you here? What's going on?
Hello, why am I here? I was invited. I think I was invited. I may have crashed. I don't know. I'm Cynthia Marie, though. You can find me on Twitter at CynDancer. I do a whole bunch of role-playing games and all that jazz. Just go check it out. But today, I am playing Lois Russo. She is an engineer from New York. So just, get out of my way, because you're going to be, like, shot if not. So she's an interesting character. I played her last week. She shot some people, so let's hope she doesn't shoot anyone else again. It should be fun. Probably the muscle of the group, who knows.
Oh, hell yeah. We should shout that out because it was very fun. Chaosium Inc. also has their own Twitch channel, and they do a show every once in a while with some one-shots called Stream of Chaos. And Cynthia and I were both on that last week. You can find the VOD. It's great.
It's great. Yeah. So, playing she's supposed to be from New York, but my whole family's from New York. I suck at the accent, so you're just going to hear this regular voice of mine.
Hey, I'm walking here.
Walking here. Yeah, that's all I got.
Sorry, I can say like comes easy.
Park the car and have it. Yeah, that's all I get for like Boston, and then I'm done. And I'm like, that's all you need to know, right?
Yes.
Where to park your car. Well, not parking cars, but our third player for this evening, the last individual who will be sojourning on this boat, is played by none other than Steph Woodburn.
Hello, je suis Nicolette de Bouton, and I am a French designer, but unfortunately I have to work at this museum while I am becoming the new Coco de Chanel de Londres. That's London, for those of you who might not know what Londres is. So that is what I like. I like some pearls. I like some nice things that the museum has. And I am very excited to see what this journey across the sea will bring us today.
So, do we are we ready to jump in? I just wanted to make sure. I was like, so do we have any other announcements? I forgot.
Just the one. And we did it. We got it all.
We did it. I wrote down the order, but then I forgot that part, and then I was thrown off. It's all good.
I ruined it.
Everybody.
It's my fault.
So we're going to be playing Call of Cthulhu, in case you were wondering. That's the system that we're playing today. But like I said, nothing bad's going to happen, so it's going to be great.
It's just a 3-hour tour.
It's a 3-hour tour.
Nice.
On a 3-hour tour. So let us set the mood and kind of see what's been happening over. We're in the middle of this boat journey. It's not the beginning of it where our story will unfold today. So you've all been here for about I'd say under 24 hours. It's like a 2-night trip, but it's kind of you start at like 6 p.m. and then it's done in the morning. So it's kind of like one full day on this boat. And this boat is it is a nice ship. The ship is called the Ss Rothbury. And it is a British ship that kind of is taking you back. You're actually traveling from Oslo to London. So you're on your return voyage home at this point. So perhaps you were involved in some of the archaeological dig at Oslo. Maybe you were just meeting and transporting the goods. Or you could just happen to be a passenger who happened upon this particular, I was going to say flight, but that's not what you call them when they're boats. Scheduled journey, that's what we'll go with, I guess, from Oslo to London. And so it's not particularly long. It's a nice boat. It's smaller than, say, something like a Titanic because it's not intercontinental. You're just traveling within 2 countries in Europe. And it's early fall, so there's definitely a chill in the air, but it's not like snowing at this point. We're not in kind of the depths of winter. I will say you're fairly far north, so it definitely does get darker earlier in the day. So, like 6 p.m. it's already it's definitely nighttime. I'd probably even say it's like 3 p.m. is probably when the sun is starting to set. And that adds a certain amount of ambiance, sailing across a ship in a cold ocean, at the dark of the night, the moon reflecting on the water surface. It's been quite pleasant and quite lovely, really, except for occasionally some of you might have heard sort of the wind being particularly loud, might have sounded a little like someone screaming or crying, but you could just write that off as being kind of a strange feature of ocean winds. It's probably nothing really. And the expedition that I believe, Harold, you were part of, this expedition was really, at this point, you're just transporting a set of artifacts that were uncovered in kind of the North Arctic Circle area of Norway. They've gone on a bit of a journey at this point, but they are being gifted to a museum in London. You can decide what museum this is. Perhaps it's like the Victoria and Albert or something like that, which has a bunch of fashion in it, as well as a bunch of like goods and things from other countries. It's got a lot of stuff in it. It's basically just like Queen Victoria's like closet. That's what the Victoria and Albert is. It's great. And also stuff they stole from other countries, the usual in a British museum. But we can determine that later, or it's not particularly relevant.
I would say Museum of London, but perhaps I'm arguing with the curator on such matters.
It doesn't. It's ultimately somewhat inconsequential. And either way, that you're transporting these artifacts. There's quite a few of them. Some of them are large. There's been swords and daggers, and there were some weapons. There's pottery. All sorts of very interesting things of kind of early Viking civilizations up in the Arctic Circle area. Things that were recently uncovered from an archaeological dig. You can decide if you were on the dig or you're just meeting these artifacts and transporting them. Perhaps you were doing a brief sojourn at one of the museums in Oslo or the university there. And you are all upon this boat on the way back. And so let's just kind of start with how the first day has been. Where would you maybe find yourself on this boat at, we'll say it's 3 p.m. as the sun is starting to set. Kind kind of 3:30ish on the second day. So you've been here for a little under one night and a day.
What do you call the mess hall aboard a ship?
The dining hall?
Yeah, there's like a hull or well, there's a fancy word for a ship. The galley. I'd be in the galley.
A voice whispers at you from beyond.
Galley. A voice from beyond has told me I will be in the galley. Yes. Perhaps having a pint of ale.
Is there wine with that ale? I will join you, if yes.
It will be an honor.
So, does Nicolette know Harold? Are you two work together? Do you work closely together, or are you at separate museums?
I've seen you, miss, at the Museum of London. Is that right?
Yes, I do work there, but I don't think I've ever seen you before. No offense.
Maybe it's just that you weren't paying attention to a man with... That's not my accent. To a man with dirt under his fingernails.
Oh, but I like a little bit of dirt under the fingernails. I think it means that you work hard and you are excited about life. I have my own ambitions to be a designer, so I know a little bit about dirt, or at least pins under the fingernail.
What would you design? Also, why are you storing pins under... Not my accent. Why are you storing pins underneath your fingernails? Nope. God damn it. It's gone.
You will never know when you are going to need a pin.
All right. Touché, madame.
It's mademoiselle. Je ne suis pas mariée.
Are you attempting to seduce me, madam?
No, I just said I'm not married, so you do not need to call me madame. How dare you? You are saying I am like over 60? No? Okay.
I would never insinuate such a thing, although I would be impressed. You would look very great for over 60.
Merci.
Anyway, speaking to intelligent women such as yourself is, as you can see, I'm quite flustered.
Do you need a shovel to help dig the hole for yourself?
Why are you flustered, sir?
I'm used to working with inanimate objects, you see. People are a bit of a conundrum for me.
I understand completely. I'm an engineer myself, so I work with inanimate objects too. It doesn't mean that once you get flustered looking at a beautiful woman.
Well, I'll take your advice the best I can.
Well, the name's Lois Rousseau.
A great pleasure. He takes your hand and kisses it unless you don't want him to do that, in which case he won't do that.
Perfectly fine. Thank you for the consent warning.
And the same to Nicolette.
Okay. Nicolette, I feel like I've seen your name somewhere.
Maybe you have seen it on the runner-up for the newcomers of London for the midi skirt. The midi skirt is between a mini skirt and a long skirt. It is a midi skirt. It falls mid-calf.
You created this item.
Oui, in fact, I did create the item, and it is very fashionable, I think. It is just the right amount. It is not too flapper, short, but it is just perfect.
It's I think, do you guys say une petite?
Oui, une petite.
I've been studying a little bit. Un petit French.
Where are you from?
I'm from New York.
New York! Oh, j'adore New York. New York is the best. So absolutely marvelous. Oh, we all love New York. We forgive you for being American if you are from New York.
Well, that's good to know.
Oh, well, I do appreciate an American. Were you the one they brought in special to help with lifting with the pulleys outside? We needed to lift great amounts, and you engineered such things?
Yes, I did. Yes, I came up with a couple of different pulley situations, a couple of different configurations that I think might actually help the situation rather than having full manpower. I've created a couple of levers and a pulley system, so hopefully it'll help.
It certainly did. I'd like to thank you for your work.
You're quite welcome, sir.
Well, this should be a nice, easy sea voyage. I don't have too much of my sea legs, being a man of the land, you understand. But I am very proud of the early Viking discoveries that will be heading back to the museums of London. Various ones, I imagine.
Good collection. Yes, I think it makes sense that it would be disseminated among several locations. You know, this is an expedition that has been funded by multiple museums. So you continue talking and drinking and probably eventually have dinner. The evening will progress onwards. Is there anything that anyone like really wants to get up to, or are all of you kind of content to pass the time without great action needed?
I would really like to talk to the foreman of the expedition. He and I, or she and I, were butting heads about where these artifacts should go. I think that perhaps they should be donated. And
who is the leader of this expedition then?
It definitely wasn't Harold. Harold's got his fingers in the dirt.
Okay.
But it's, well regarded.
Let's say Dr. Erica Pendleton is the leader of our expedition. Yes. Dr. Erica Pendleton.
Could I ask a question?
Yeah.
Would Dr. Pendleton be on the payroll of my father, perchance?
Do you want Dr. Pendleton to be on the payroll of your father, perchance?
That would be great.
Yeah, no, definitely. Those artifacts are, many of them are going to museums. Some of them are going into private collections. At museums, yes. Definitely. So we will find then, Harold, when do you go try and find Dr. Pendleton?
After having a few pints. I was a little nervous to speak to her for aforementioned reasons.
She's maybe sitting at a table. She's reading some sort of, I don't know, archaeological tome. It's probably about Norwegian histories, and it's very dry. But she's fascinated by it, and she's deep into it.
I walk up to her and I say, should you be reading such riveting material before bedtime? Won't it keep you up at night with the excitement?
Are you a doctor? Are you Dr. Harold Smalls, or are you just Mr. Harold Smalls?
Unfortunately, no. I have earned my stripes the hard way. Just Mr.
So she looks up at you. Mr. Smalls.
He's kind of short, but he stands up as tall as he possibly can. Dr. Pendleton?
Have a question for me? I'm in the middle of something.
Right. Well, if you wouldn't mind setting aside your little novella, it occurs to me that you might be taking the highest bidder for these items, when I would like to advocate that the Viking coins, are of the utmost importance, and I would like to give them to a particular researcher I know who will, use them for leads into further expeditions to really divulge the great history of the Nordic regions.
So your nepotism is fine?
That's right.
Right. Well, our expedition has already assigned where all of these artifacts are going, or will when we arrive.
Can I roll to charm her?
Yes, you can totally roll to charm her.
Okay.
Let's say, what is Lois's family's social connection? I think let's make this opposed against that, perhaps.
Yeah, I was like, can I show up somewhere in this and have intimidation in here?
Yeah, we'll start with this charm.
Okay.
Family's social.
Give me a second. I got it. There we go. I found the backstory. I'm still learning Roll20 here with Call of Cthulhu. It's fun.
The social capital, right? Is that the one you're looking for? Ooh,
Dang.
18.
Beautiful.
That's right.
It's a hard success.
Game.
Give me 1 second because I don't see it in the Roll20. Let me actually pull up the actual sheet. Unless Becca, you have it.
Oh, you're in there. Just hit character sheet after you click on Lois.
Yeah, no, I got that. I'm looking through the skills, combat backstory, and I don't see it the write up on there. There's a specific write up about her connection.
Oh yes, I don't have that.
Give me 2 seconds. I will pull it up shortly.
But I can put it in the chat for you. Oh, I'll just I could make guesses. I swear I've seen them before.
We just paused. We're just waiting.
What was the exact question again?
What's your? I think it's social connection, right? That's the one.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm gonna put in the chat because I'm not sure I want to reveal that quite yet. So.
Okay.
Beep boop boop boop.
And then I will use this to figure out whether or not it was extreme or a hard success. You probably succeeded in some capacity just because you rolled very low, Harold.
That's how Harold rolls.
Low to the ground.
Wow.
Harold. I'm English.
Harold.
Once I had a purple crown. He goes on, and this is what charms Dr. Erica Pendleton.
Yes. Tell me about the charm. I think in a hard success will get you a little bit of leeway. Perhaps.
I'm just filling time as I tell you, you know, Erica, I had a dream once as a child. Playmates and I, we climbed a tree, and then we fell off that tree into a hole, and there we found ancient Viking artifacts.
I'm sorry, you are requesting the coins that we found?
That's right.
Perhaps I can, if you stop telling me this story, arrange for one of them to be sent to your friend.
I'll take it. Thank you. My charm by reverse charming. Totally
Please
works.
stop talking. I'll give you a little bit of leeway.
Harold is feeling
the
very
coins were-
self-satisfied and goes back to his porthole.
I think when she
Cabin.
says that, she writes something down on a piece of paper and like hands it to one of the staff, and then later on, Lois, you get the staff person like delivers this piece of paper to you, and it just says inconsequential coin was spoken for. I'm using it to keep attention off of our backs.
I store that away for later espionage.
So Harold, you go about your business. Was Lois or Nicolette? Is there anything you're up to this evening? If not, it's totally okay.
I think enjoying a drink with Nicolette would be nice, and learning a little bit more about fashion histories, since my character is a civil engineer type. She takes a keen interest in architecture, and I believe architecture is quite the influence on fashion in the 20s.
Very much so.
So,
Steph?
Yes, I was just thinking about that myself, that architecture was so influential on the fashion. So it would be so nice if we could have a glass of vin together.
absolutely. Have you seen the makings? I believe it's a thick silver kind of looking building. I don't know what they've called it yet in New York. I know that they're still building it.
In New York or in Paris?
In New York, there's a lot of beautiful architecture going on. Oh, I know that Paris has a lot of architecture.
Yes, it says that some of the hallmarks of fashion are in fact inspired by architecture. And they include exaggerated proportions and swooping angles and particular attention to construction and to shapes. So you want to create that three-dimensional look, and that's what you are very good at. And we try to manipulate it and put it all around the bodies
Beautiful. And then what is this? Come back to me about the skirt length. Now, I'm a girl who likes a little bit of a shorter skirt.
Yes. So if you want to be a little between proper and super non-proper, then the midi is for you. The midi is actually a thing, and you would not believe it is a Scrabble word. And midi is a little bit un peu plus longer than a mini skirt, but it is shorter than a full-length ankle skirt.
So I can wear that to church.
I think you could wear it to church. I mean, it's comfortable. Do you feel comfortable showing a little bit of ankle, just like a little bit?
Yeah, I'm pretty out there with my fashion sense, so I don't mind showing a little bit of ankle.
Okay, well then you think that the midi is perfect for you. And tell me about you. How did you get started in such exciting things like engineering?
Storyteller. I think I need to roll for or what is it?
Are you trying to lie?
Yep.
I mean, I think that to a certain extent is up to you. Like, what approach are you taking? How lying is this lie versus just casually ignoring the truth?
Well, I definitely want to convince her that I am just an engineering student who randomly popped up here.
You want to use, okay. I think if you want to go ahead and roll, I don't think it's fast talk. I think this is persuade.
Yeah. Boop, 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 boop.
And then,
where's persuade at?
I think it's persuade. That's the name of the skill, right?
Up top?
Sure is. It's alphabetical.
Yeah.
It's there at the top of the third column.
Oh, I found it. Did it roll? It didn't roll.
Oh, it did.
Yes.
It's a fail.
You were really bad at persuading.
Right. So I'm an architecture student. I major in engineering, but I'm really learning about architecture, and I found this ship really fascinating.
Are you lying to me? I just, we like to be blunt where I come from.
What makes you think that?
The way that you shake your voice and that you are not looking at my eyes and that it is okay, whatever you are, engineer, architecture, student, all these things.
I feel like that also happens to be the moment that someone passes you the note that's like, oh, this is, don't tell anyone, and like really awkwardly trying to be surreptitious.
The note. For me?
No, the note was for Lois. It was from the professor, from Dr. Pendleton. But you watch that whole exchange and you're like, not suspicious at all.
Interesting. So, who's that guy?
That the server?
The one who just gave you a note.
That's just a server.
You're also doing this thing where you blink and not look at me and you change your voice. Is that true? Is it?
I'll be right back. I got some business to take care of. I get up and go to the professors.
Oh.
As you're walking across the room, Professor's still reading her book.
Doctor?
Yes.
I apologize for disturbing you. Is there a place a little more, and I look over my shoulder at Nicolette, private that we can talk?
Why don't we go speak on the deck?
Excellent.
She, like, packs her book in her bag, and the two of you can exit out onto one of the kind of like decks. When you get out there, the temperature has definitely dropped. It's colder, I think, than yesterday was. It's a little bit chilly. You even see a few flurries of snow, and the sky has become it's pretty dark out at this point because the sun is both going down, but also the clouds are covering kind of whatever would be left of the sun at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, colder than I thought.
Yeah, it is quite frigid out here. So, I have a question for you. I am typically a God-fearing woman, but there's somebody that I fear a lot more than God, and that's my father.
Yes.
What's the meaning of this note?
Oh. Mr. Smalls has been on our case this entire time. Consider it a small concession to prevent his further suspicion. If he gets something small that he thinks he wants, then he's not going to care about the larger things that won't be making it to the museums.
But you do understand that there is a particular dossier that outlines everything that we are supposed to be bringing back to my father.
Well, I believe the count was 12 coins. So that's how many it should be. You get the sense of, like, there were more than that. But maybe she's fudged some of the records?
12.
Yes.
12.
Did you count them in?
I definitely saw them coming up the pulley system that I rigged here.
Yes.
So I'm going to ask you again. There is a dossier that my father is counting on. Are all the items going to be there?
All of the items that he will receive are in the dossier. The dossier says 12. He will receive 12 coins.
So if I were to get in trouble because not everything is delivered, I have your permission to report you to Mr. Schultz?
I understand your question and your concern. We're not trying to conceal anything. I'm not trying to keep anything from him.
But
I'm simply trying to prevent other people from investigating. And if Harold Smalls, as much as I dislike that man, he has friends in high places.
I can take care of Harold Smalls myself, if you needed to.
Wait, what?
Just saying.
I hadn't thought of that. Why don't you follow him around for a little while and get to know him?
Sounds like a plan. This is why they call you a doctor.
Go recount the coins. I think I might have miscounted.
I see. Yes, it's often something that's overlooked by such a smart person as yourself, no?
Such a small detail, so trivial, really. Easy to forget.
Understood. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I know that you're certainly so busy on this expedition.
Thank you. It has been quite nice to get to know you. I'm very glad you're part of this.
Oh, you're too kind.
Don't forget your coat. It's rather chilly out here, don't you think?
It is quite chilly. Is it supposed to be this cold at this time?
Fall can always be a bit of bargain. You never know quite what the weather you're going to get is going to be.
Question. Where is Mr. Smalls residing beside, like, what deck?
I think he's looking out at the ocean right now. He's on the other side of the ship on a different deck.
Different deck. I love it.
Same deck.
I think she'll tell you what room that she knows of that he's in. It's just like three doors down the third floor. Blah blah blah.
Thank you for the information.
Of course. So
well, have a good evening.
And she leaves to go back inside, both a little afraid, but also very intimidated and kind of impressed. Like, okay, she's gonna murder him. That solves my problem. Gonna pretend I didn't know that. It's like her internal dialogue.
Okay.
So where's Mr. Smalls right now?
Yeah, he left his cabin after getting a little seasick, just looking through the one little porthole, and he decided to walk the lower deck just a bit.
You also notice the briskness, the chill as the snow. The snow is drifting on the wind.
Yes, it's almost like it's right here upon me.
Snowflake lands on your cheek, melts against your warm skin.
Reminds me.
Hear a sound. Could just be the wind, or was that a scream? No, probably the wind.
May I take a moment to stop and listen more carefully?
I suppose if you would like to, yes. How carefully do you listen?
Not terribly carefully. I drop my pipe as I'm refilling the tobacco.
Okay. I won't make you roll it.
I rolled it and it was bad.
No, I wasn't actually gonna get you to roll a listen.
Huh.
So you're fine.
Okay.
Yeah. You're busy. You weren't really trying that hard.
Just listening to the deep resounding sighs within my heart. A bachelor.
It's just the water lapping against the side of the boat. That's what it was.
That's, yes, hard to tell the difference. Is it my internal emptiness? Or is it water lapping against a boat hull? Hard to say.
Hard to say.
Maybe it's both.
Is
Is
everyone
Lois heading in my direction?
Yeah. Did either of you try and find Mr. Smalls, or do you just?
Yep. I'm headed straight to Mr. Smalls, realize that he's not in his room, and kind of just like starts to meander around the decks to see if she can find him.
I think as I'm heading back to my cabin, I see you. Miss Russo, was it?
Mr. Smalls, yes it is. Very good
Pleasure.
memory.
Ah, well, at my age, you remember a pretty face. It sticks with you. It has a lot to do with age.
Lots to do with age. I will keep that in mind. So,
Would you care for some pipe tobacco?
Without the pipe, just straight up tobacco.
I'm quite fine, thank you. No, not my cup of tea.
Oh. Well, what is? I know you have a sharp mind, but what else interests Miss Russo?
Quite a bit actually. Architecture is quite fun. I'm a civil engineer right now, so that's just always been captivating and fun. Actually, studying the architecture on this ship is quite lovely as well.
Sure. Answer me this. Have you heard anything strange aboard? I don't know if it's just an echo in my head or whether there's something below decks that's strange, different, unusual. What are other synonyms for
Strange and
unexpected?
unusual. Just the wind? Are you saying that there's something weird going on?
I just have a feeling. That's all I know.
Okay.
Is that a rosary you hold in your hands?
Yes, it is. It's well, I thought it would get me out of sticky situations. Unfortunately, a few years ago, it didn't work to the best of my advantage, but I still hold it as a memento of what happened on some twisted nights. Anyways.
Sure. We've all had those, haven't we?
Yeah.
Although something tells me you don't mean the normal sort of twisted, do you? What have you seen, Miss Russo?
Oh, I've seen things come out of the darkness, and you know what? I'm not supposed to talk about that. I just came back from a retreat. I am perfectly fine. I am of sane mind and body. I do not endure this sort of stress. It'll be fine. It is just the wind. It's just the wind.
All right, then.
It's just the wind. Right?
I hope so. Perhaps you join me in my cabin for a wee nip?
Sounds wonderful.
I mean, a drink.
Yep.
Was that clear, or?
Is it? Yeah, anything to be not here. It's fine.
It is the most awkward.
I open the cabin door and invite you inside.
Nicolette, is there anything you've been doing?
Yes, I have been strolling along with a glass of champagne, and I am just looking at the beautiful sea and thinking how strange our American friends are right now.
Very strange. Very strange. As you stare out into the ocean, you see the clouds kind of swirling, darkening. Perhaps there's a storm on the horizon. Maybe it's just snow coming. And I think, are you particularly attuned to other people, or like, are you like a perceptive individual?
I don't think I am super. I have intelligence, but I don't know. I think I am a slightly perceptive, yes.
You see maybe some of the crew kind of walking past. They look discontented, perhaps, or disgruntled. Like they're not in like distress, but they're just sort of like grumble. I don't like what's going on. And they seem to be, two of them seem to be talking to each other.
Shall I go up to them and I say, bonsoir, how are you doing?
I would try and do like a Norwegian accent, but I can't. So we'll just pretend that this one is speaking in a Norwegian accent. And they're like, oh, hello, how can I help you? Is there anything you need?
No, I was just observing the night and I could not help but overhear you. And I, there's not that many people on the deck right now. So just how is it to work here? Do you like it?
Oh, it's been good. This trip has been a little nippy, a bit colder than we normally get this time of year. But it's probably just the weather. The other one's like, and you can see like they've clearly been in some sort of argument. And they're like, it's clearly the other one's like, it's clearly just the weather being strange. Like you're being superstitious. Stop worrying and getting your knickers in a twist.
Sorry, superstitious and knickers in a twist. What are these things?
The one who was kind of berating the other one, she like pushes him out of the way, and she's just like, he's just getting himself worked up. Says there's some strange seas superstition going on. There's a storm on the horizon or something. I think he's just worrying because it's snowing, and it doesn't normally snow this time of year. It's just the weather.
Okay. But if there was something, I just, is it possible for me to check persuasion?
Yes.
Maybe I could see if I could use my persuasion. Okay. I see it here.
We'll say this is a normal difficulty.
Okay. And I do it. Oh, terrible. Je n'en sais pas très bien. Okay, so the weather, okay.
She sort of looks at you and she's like, thank you for asking us, but it is our job to make sure that you have a pleasant journey. Nothing for you to worry about. If there is a problem, we'll take care of it, and the captain will as well. You're fine. Really, don't worry.
Okay. You will take care of the weather?
If the weather causes any delays, we'll make sure you're all taken care of and all comfortable.
Okay, because there was a ship where something terrible happened, and
this isn't the Titanic. We have plenty of lifeboats here.
Just checking. Okay.
We're not even in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. We're just in the North Sea.
You never know.
She's like, tries very hard to sort of persuade you to being less comfortable. Whether or not it works is up to you, but
okay. Sure, it is fine to be on no Titanic, so that is okay. I will go on my way and not worry about anything.
Yeah, don't worry about anything. It's fine. Everything's fine. So while Lois and Harold are in the room, is there anything particular you get up to? If not, we might sort of flash forward a little bit into kind of the evening. Oh, sorry, that's a Harold face.
It really depends if Lois tries to murder me or not.
That's a very fair question. Do you try to murder him yet, Lois?
No, definitely gonna keep Harold on his toes a bit.
Well, as you enter the room, I will pour us a nightcap of I don't know what is popular to drink in these countries, but I do have a flask of whiskey that I pour, and then I think we have a small chat and go to bed separately.
Sounds good.
Enjoy the specification.
Harold, he's not one to make a move, yeah.
So important question. The main question I have then is, each of you, do you go to bed, I would say, on the earlier side or the later side? Like, if it was like 1 in the morning, are you going to be asleep or are you going to still be awake?
I'm definitely staying up. Probably left Harold's quite early because I am a lady. Don't stick around that long.
Would be inappropriate.
Yes, but definitely up fairly late in my own room doing research.
Okay. Nicolette, Harold?
I am just chilling in my room and I am thinking about design. Nothing crazy.
And eventually you fall asleep at a normal time. Okay.
Harold doesn't like to sleep. He doesn't need to sleep much, but he is sitting in the armchair in his cabin, and he fell asleep sitting in the chair. Pipe still hanging out of his mouth.
Classy. All right. So we'll kind of deal with this a little bit differently. First, Nicolette and Harold, as you fall asleep, begin to dream. It's a fitful sleep. It's not easy. It's not comfortable. It's cold in your dream. You feel the chill kind of seep into your bones. You see darkness. You see swirling snow. It surrounds you. It begins to sort of almost oppressively trap you in it. Like there's part of you that feels like you might suffocate at any moment, and then a moment where it goes dark, and there are 2 red glowing dots. They look like eyes that snap open and stare at you. And at that moment, you feel a lurch that wakes you up. Lois, you not being asleep, feel the lurch. And it is the lurch of the boat, making a very sudden stop. Probably throws you slightly off balance.
It is an iceberg.
How rude.
I assume each of you are in your room, so we can kind of go, what do each of you do in this moment? Does anyone want to start?
I will. I grab my bathrobe and I run out and I say, iceberg!
You're just like screaming in the hallway. You see other passengers, several sort of open the door, some of them kind of bleary-eyed, like maybe they were asleep. The crew, so one of the crew members is like, it's not an iceberg, the boat's just stopped, you're fine. It's not, but like people might start panicking a little bit and they sort of like start running and aren't listening to the crew member.
I assume I'm on a similar floor or like close to Nicolette's room, so I'm gonna like pop out and go, Nicolette, come here.
Yes.
Come. It's not an iceberg, but I think there might be something else going on.
What do you think is going on? And also, why have you been lying to me?
Are we gonna start this right now? The boat literally stopped.
I mean, we might be sharing a boat together, so you might as well get it off your chest and just tell me. It might be your last moment on Earth, and you must be honest with me and yourself.
Okay. All right, I haven't been fully honest with you. I'm running away from my fiance, and I really just need as much money as possible. And I understand that this looks very, very strange, but I'm on this expedition to just really get away from him.
I don't know if I believe you, but I really like that story. It is a very sad and beautiful story, and I understand.
God's honor, I swear.
Okay. I believe you. That is awful. But where are you going? What are you going to do?
I don't know. I knew how to get away.
Okay. So what was the note that the man gave you?
Just a random note. Haven't you met somebody in a grand sweep of romance? You get a note the next day to meet them somewhere?
Am I persuaded?
Should I roll for that?
Find out. This can be a opposed roll. So basically, whoever has the higher level of success will succeed. So your I think this might be fast talk, but it could also be persuade, depending on how you think you're approaching it, Lois. And then, what are the sort of
Perhaps psychology?
psychology? Yeah, I think that's probably the one for Nicolette.
I'm gonna go with fast talk because that's my higher stat.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh yeah, well that's just great.
Oh.
You got a success. Just
I got a success,
flat
but this is less. No?
Okay. Oh no, sorry.
Nicolette
Oh, so the
succeeded.
psychology was success and the
Yeah,
fast talk
I
was a
failed.
failure.
Yeah.
Sorry, I misread
Oh.
that. So Nicolette, you know she's not telling you the truth.
I know you're not telling me the truth. I can tell. You are a better liar than earlier today, but not by much. There is no fiance. Is there? You get one more chance to be honest with me, and then you are not on my boat anymore.
On your boat.
The lifeboat that we will need to escape.
Very pressing situation.
Darling.
In the background, we see the crew kind of calming people down, ushering some of them back into the room. There's still definitely a hubbub as people are sort of like trying to figure out what went on, but the crew's working pretty hard to try and calm people down. So you're just sort of standing in the hallway. There's not like an alarm blaring or anything.
Darling, I don't think there's enough alcohol for me to tell you exactly my story. So why don't we go inside my room and let's try to figure out a strategy as to why this boat lurched us from sleep.
I don't know that I trust you in your room. Let's go to my room, and then that is okay.
Just then, Harold wanders past as you're discussing whose room. Excuse me, so sorry to bother you, but there was a jolt, right? It wasn't just a nightmare. I do have quite a few nightmares these days.
It was a massive jolt, and I think the crew is hiding something from us. They seemed totally suspicious this afternoon.
The crew, huh?
Yes. Two people who were working, they were kind of arguing, and someone had something to worry about, and then they said, don't worry about it. But I said, I saw the other boats, and I know what can happen.
So you're saying that we have something to fear here? There's something nefarious? The boat might not make it back?
I believe so. I believe that the crew knows something that we do not know.
So we should interrogate the crew then.
Who's going to interrogate you, a student, architect, engineer?
I mean, who else can do it? Mr. Smalls?
I'm the architect here, miss, and I'm that's just kidding. That starts with an A. I'm an archaeologist, miss, and I prefer digging in dirt and looking into the eyes of statues rather than crewmates. So I would not opt to do such a thing unless absolutely necessary.
Well, Nicolette, since you're so astute at understanding other people's deceptions, maybe you're the best.
Maybe, but they did not want to share with me earlier today. I am not very good at persuading.
Perhaps
I'm
we
good
could
at
use some
psychology.
assistance. I can stand behind you.
Oh, that would be great.
Is there anyone from the crew wandering by that we could flag down?
Yeah, sure. There's definitely they're like ushering some other people back into their room.
Young boatswain.
Oh yes, just a moment. They get the other person in the room. How can I help you, sir? Are you all right? Are all of you all right? So sorry. Did any of you get hurt when the boat stopped?
Just my ego as I fell deeper and deeper into the dark hole of my own emotions. In my dreamscape, you understand.
Could I get you some tea, perhaps?
Tea would help,
a nip of
yes.
brandy to help with that problem?
Brandy and the tea, even better.
And some champagne, if you do not mind. I have found that calms my nerves. And while we're talking, I'm just curious. What has happened?
Oh, Captain is still figuring out exactly the cause, but our engines have stopped. So we're not producing steam. It seems like something is making them too cold to function properly. In fact, actually, I do recommend you put on coats because our heating doesn't seem to be working particularly well right now, and I wouldn't want any of you to catch cold. But don't worry, engineers are on it. They will get it fixed up right in a jiffy, and we'll be back on our way to London.
Now, young boatswain, see here. I'll have heating in my room. You see to it.
Of course. We're going to get everything fixed as soon as possible. As soon as the captain figures out what the cause was. So sorry about this inconvenience. Absolutely awful. We don't want this to happen. It's not normal at all.
Do you need an extra pair of hands or eyes on fixing the engine?
Oh, we couldn't possibly impede upon you at all.
I've seen her work. She knows quite what she's doing.
Pushing for it, she'll probably say yes. She's just being polite because you're a guest on the boat, and therefore asking a guest to do hard labor on the boat is not considered appropriate.
Well, so Nicolette has a question, and if you answer, perhaps I can help and get this thing faster.
Yes. Anything else I can add to the order besides champagne, tea, and sherry?
Whiskey.
Brandy.
Oh, yes, I'll take brandy, not sherry. Fine distinction.
Of course.
Thank you, Nicolette. Now, I wonder if you two would let me go down there. I know sort of a bit about how things work, having seen ancient civilizations and devised their purposes.
She makes this face that's like, how does ancient civilizations have anything to do with boats?
Steam power, you see. I'm sure that the Mayans in South America originally created steam. You may not have heard of them up here in the Nordic regions.
Right, of course. Why don't I go get these things for you? I'll pass on what you just said to someone else, and they'll let you know if you can help at all. And then she is going to, unless you stop her, she's going to just scurry away very quickly.
We had a question, right?
Well,
oh no! Did Steph freeze for anyone else?
Yeah.
Oh no!
She looks lovely.
The question, we're all
There are
frozen.
worse freezing faces.
It's so cold.
Ooh! Why is it so cold? Harold didn't really bring a Nordic coat up here because he's a rugged man, but he's gonna go back in his cabin and put on all the layers that he brought.
We're just in Oslo and you didn't bring a warm coat?
Okay, well maybe he did. He purchased a new fur one while he was here.
Yeah, Lois is gonna do the same. She's gonna grab a big fur.
There you are. She's back.
I'm back. Je suis back. I don't know what happened. I was so upset. I blacked out for a second, and it was awful.
We were just
She's still waiting
on
there.
Fashion.
Sorry, you had a question before I leave.
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad you waited for me. My question was, it seems that there is something suspicious going on with the crew, and I was wondering what you could tell us about it.
Suspicious?
Yes, it seems like there's something else to worry about besides just the weather.
Or maybe someone was upset. I think you overheard an argument earlier between some crewmates.
Oh, that must have been, she names two random people, who were probably the two you talked to. Thomas is just always getting himself worked up about sea. He's been a sailor, his whole family's been sailors. I don't know if you know this, but there's a lot of superstition about the ocean and things like, don't bring this on your boat, do bring this on your boat, this is bad luck, this is good luck, red sky at the morning, blue sky at night, sort of thing.
Right, women, terrible luck. I don't believe that, but I hear.
I wouldn't worry too much about it. There was some mumbling, I think, among some about the weather being particularly odd, which it is, in fairness. It's not normally this cold in the fall. In fact, we actually don't run this line very often in the winter because it gets so cold. So that is unusual, but, it's weather.
Well, we did have to do this expedition now. One more year of snow, and perhaps it would have been too deeply buried. Once you start uncovering, you can't stop. You can't.
I'm going to go get your order, and I will let the whoever the head galley crew person would be. What's that called again? Quartermaster.
Ooh. Can I ask one more question? I apologize. I was a little out of it for a second. So that's the type of answer that you would provide the doctor, correct? About the crewmates being just kind of all over the place. Are you sure there's nothing else that you want to say?
Dr. Pendleton, who's
Yes.
even down. Actually, I haven't seen her recently, so we haven't talked to her yet.
Ever? Or just today?
Well, since the ship stopped.
So that'll be another question of mine. Can you go find her, please?
Oh, of course. Yes, I'll go see if I can find her. Yes. I'll get the crew on it. She might just be in her room. We'll give it a bit of a knock. And then she will scurry away.
My new companions. I don't trust that we will get permission to see exactly why this boat has stopped. Perhaps, Lois, we could escort you to have a look below decks for ourselves.
Conveniently, the engines are relatively new where stuff is stored, so you know, on the way would be looking for would be where the artifacts are too.
Give me a few moments to go grab my tools.
Yes, I need to adjust my new fur coat.
With that, Keeper, I'm gonna go into. I think we were still in front of my room.
Yeah.
Go in there. The tool. I am gonna grab a small toolkit as an engineer. I got a couple of things that I could bring, but under the coat, I'm also bringing like what do I have? I think my gun.
I was gonna say, when you say tools, how many of those are guns?
One gun. I promise that there's one gun. But I do come out with a toolkit. I don't want them to think that I'm terribly lying to them. I do plan on fixing things, but
also in the toolkit is another note.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like it's wrench, revolver.
Don't mind these things. It's okay. It's fine.
Harold also has a .38 revolver.
All right, y'all are packing. We've got weapons here.
He turns to Nicolette and says, Madam, I hope this won't be necessary, but I will be able to provide protection if needed, and then pulls open his fur coat slightly to show you that he is armed.
Oh, that is a very kind American gesture of you. I think I don't know how to.
I'm very English, if you couldn't tell.
Oh.
My apologies. It's a switchblade, not a gun.
Oh.
It is. This is very, very gentlemanly of you. I assure you, I am quite ferocious, so I might not need protecting. But in the event that my personal guns on my arms do not protect me, I shall be very grateful for you.
I don't make any assumptions. I'm sure you can. Pardon me.
So, what should we go investigate now?
So you've heard a few things. The crew's definitely, people on the crew feel uncomfortable. You know that the ship has stopped, that the engines don't necessarily seem to be working properly, and you're not sure who last saw Dr. Pendleton either. Those were kind of your two big question marks that were up in the air. You know, that part, the ship stopped in the middle of the ocean. It's getting really cold. The heating's not working.
Perhaps we should make a fire on the deck. Oh, no, that's a bad idea. Perhaps it's
set this boat on fire.
Typically, if you're trying to look for heat, specifically within a ship, it's actually smarter maybe to go to the boiler room.
Excellent.
You go down to the engines.
I have heard that is where some people have died, but okay.
Why would anybody die in a boiler room?
Sounds terrifying.
Well, burns and the like, I'm sure it could happen.
That's just machinery. We'll be fine down there.
I guess it is very cold.
You know, I had a cousin who was ripped in half by machinery. Very sad.
Je suis très désolée. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. I'm just saying it can be quite terrifying. I myself am
should we not go to the boiler room? I also have some extra jackets if you would like some extra things to put on.
No. I can overcome it, but I will be picturing my cousin being mutilated as we pass past any large metal machinery.
Oh. I don't know if that is what we want, because it is already a very difficult time, so we do not have to cause any more trauma.
No, none at all. Lois, perhaps you know the way of where ships might put their boiler room? I'll follow your lead.
I try to navigate myself down to the boiler room where I think it might be.
I don't think that's, I don't think getting there is particularly difficult, though. Are you trying to, say, not get noticed? Like, is there any sort of subtlety that you're attempting to use on your journey there? Or are you just kind of brazenly going about your business?
Somewhere in between inconspicuous and just kind of just meandering over there.
Okay. I think maybe if all of you, I don't know if they do group roles in this, but maybe we could go with
the way a group roll works is whoever has the lowest ability in that skill will roll for the group.
Okay. I'm thinking this might be a charm, because I don't think there's like a performance skill. So kind of a charm to just...
would be one of the 4 interpersonal.
Yeah.
I have a charm.
That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, something basically to make it seem like you belong there, right? That's kind of what you're going for, that like no one should bother you, no one should be like question what you're doing.
Yeah. I was like, we could stealth it if that's what you guys want to do.
Maybe a mix.
It seems like you're going more, I mean, even psychology could potentially do it, but like charm.
I'll tip my hat.
Disguise.
Yes. Harold is surprisingly quite charming.
Are we all rolling charm?
I think so, yes.
Or, maybe little this, little that. I don't want to make you...
Oh, art craft could also be acting.
That's what he hates me.
I mean, you're rolling against a 15, so...
I have a 16.
Although,
does it... Is she the only one that rolls?
I think it's the person with the lowest score. So in this instance, it was charm and Lois had, yeah. So 2 of you seem very inconspicuous. You just sort of walk down like you know where you're going. Lois, however, you seem out of place. And you can describe that however you want, but you just doesn't... it doesn't seem like you belong wherever it is that you are leading them to. And perhaps it's that what happens is you get waylaid a lot more. Like people keep asking you questions, like trying to stop you and turn you back around and be like, no. You don't want to go this way. We're not putting people in lifeboats. You need to go back to your room. And so you just kind of constantly get turned around and it takes you a long time to get down there.
Great. Yeah, I'm like bobbing and weaving, kind of like trying to make my way around.
And maybe that makes you extra frustrated. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know how you feel about it.
I'm getting a little antsy now.
And you eventually make your way below kind of the lower decks. You go down a few levels. People have constantly just kind of tried to redirect you. But only ever you, Lois, not the other 2. They're like, oh yeah, no, they're fine. Just, what are you doing here? And
it's got to be the silky top.
You just look so out of place down here. You clearly aren't trying to go to a boiler room.
And I'm the one carrying the tools.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is like peak microaggression. Like, you walk in and they call you nurse, and even though you were the doctor.
Great.
So you eventually make your way. There's kind of a corridor. There's several doors on the other side. You would recognize, Harold, I think, and Lois, you'd recognize this is the place where you were loading in the artifacts to be stored, because it's also where the storage is. And down at the far end of the hallway that you're in is where the engine would be. And it's quiet down here. And you sort of, maybe at first you're surprised, but then sort of that realization of, oh, they said that engines weren't working, so it kind of makes sense. That there's not a lot of noise. down here. Although at some point that quiet is disrupted by a door swinging open and a young man sort of bolting out of the door, like face white, sort of a look of terror on his face. He's not screaming or anything. He's just like kind of panicked, and he runs down the hallway to the direction that you're coming in, and probably runs into one of you because he's not paying like great attention to where he's going.
I grab him by the shoulders. Young man. What seems to be the matter? You're all right.
And he just wide-eyed, face just like all the blood rushed out of it, like he's just in shock.
What have you seen, man?
I don't, he's just blubbering. Words are coming out, they're tumbling over. I went to go look, and
Lois grabs him and smacks him across the face.
That's right.
Like,
well done.
Starts for a moment. He's sort of the red imprint of your face, and he pauses. There's a body. I didn't. Maybe
it's the ghost of my cousin. Oh, no, probably not.
What?
Never mind. What were you going to
ghost?
say?
A body.
Body.
There was blood on the floor. I was gonna go get the medic. I don't know what happened, but I went to check something in the storeroom, and it was...
Could they still be alive?
There was a lot of blood. I didn't check. I'm gonna go get the medic.
Were they caught in the machinery and ripped in half? That's what I need to know.
There's no machinery in there. That's a storage room.
All right, then.
And he looks like he's just, like, about to break down into tears.
Go fetch the medic.
I don't know. Okay, go. Medic.
Tell the storage room straight ahead?
Yeah, you see the door that he flung open. It's still open.
I think we should look. See if we can help.
Yes. Who wants to go first?
I mean, I'll go first.
Okay.
Casually walk into a room with a body. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, honestly, like, having seen this before at another place and another time.
This is even your first body.
Yeah.
Wait, you have seen this before?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
That was out of character, by the way.
Yeah.
Me being another thing. Yeah.
As you walk closer to the door, the sort of the smell kind of hits you. It's still cold down here, so it doesn't travel quite as far because, you know, heat makes things smellier. But there's kind of a coppery tang on the air. It's definitely the smell of blood. You step into the room, and the room right now, the light is on, but it's kind of got that like eerie sort of. These be gas lamps. They definitely wouldn't be electric.
Yeah.
I think they'd be gas lamps. So
yeah,
it's
handle.
kind of a flicker as the gas is sort of wavering in the cold, and you see ahead of you. There's crates. You recognize there's other things that are being stored down here, but you definitely remember this was where you put the artifacts. They're kind of in one of the back corners. So as you head in, the smell gets stronger, and you see kind of a shadowed form, just lying on the ground. It's kind of behind a crate, so the light doesn't quite hit it. And it's very clearly a body of a person lying on the ground. And I think for any of you that this is your first body, you definitely need to roll a sanity.
Harold takes his scarf out of his pocket, his fur coat pocket, and covers his mouth. This is not something he's used to.
Mm-hmm.
He failed his sanity roll.
Oh, a failure? That's okay. This one's not so bad. This one is not so bad.
My cousin.
Appreciate when the keeper says that.
Okay. For your failed, that being said, I rolled well. You lose 3 points of sanity.
Oh, goodness.
Nicola,
this isn't all right.
I think need to roll a sanity. Ooh, also a failure.
Roll 20, be nicer.
You also lose 3 points of sanity. It's a D3. Wow, I'm doing great. I don't know what the problem is with your rolls. I think you can decide if you want to roll a sanity. Lois, you've seen a dead body before, so this is perhaps not as intense for you yet.
You know what? For flavoring and knowing what happened to her before, I'm going to say that this is probably a trigger point, in which case we should probably roll sanity as well.
Okay. You ever hold it together? You actually don't lose any sanity with the success. You keep it together.
Excellent.
As you step in, the smell, it's fresh. Like that's I think that is something that maybe you would recognize. Like this is not a body that has been here for a very long time. Like it's not rotting. This is like a tang of blood that is still like moist. Let me just put that out there.
So, pulling from experience, Keeper, I want to ask a couple of questions.
Yeah.
It's going to sound real wrong of me. In any other context, it would sound real wrong. But here we go, Call of Cthulhu. I'm looking at the blood splatter and seeing how the blood actually came out. Is it a pool of blood? Is it a splatter across the wall?
So as you, I think in order to kind of assess that, we need to get closer. So as you walk across the room, you get closer to the body, and it's like relatively central in the room. It's not necessarily clear what it is. And because it adds extra drama, you look at this and you actually recognize this person. And it is that young server who was helping you earlier. Never came back with your order, by the way.
The boatswain. My Brandy.
The young boatswain. She is lying on the ground, and I think the first thing that you would notice, like there is very clearly like blood on her. Like it looks like gashes or wounds of some kind. You can't necessarily tell what caused them, but it's not like the blood is sort of pooling out around her from the injuries that she sustained, whatever caused those injuries. You don't see like a big splatter. There's probably some splatter marks around you, but if you want to get more details, I think this would be either like a medicine, if you have that, to sort of get a sense of the kind of medical side of it. If you've got spot hidden, would also work very well here.
I have spot hidden. I have first aid.
Against my better judgment, I will lean down and look
probably
for more
not first
information
aid
as well.
You would also like to give it an inspection?
I would.
Yeah, I think probably the two main ones would be medicine will get you more like information about how she died and kind of the cause of injury and death, as opposed to spot hidden would kind of let you notice like what's going on around, maybe put together some clues about the context of what happened.
I can roll a medicine.
Medicine? Okay.
But it is not very strong for me.
Well, medicine will be a regular success.
Oh, okay.
In order to succeed. All right. So we've got a medicine coming from Nicolette. What is Harold doing?
Harold walks over to the young boatswain. Boatswain? I was instructed in chat how to pronounce that better.
Boatswain? I guess it's boatswain. I like boatswain.
Boatswain.
Personally.
Boatswain. And I will nudge her with my foot to try and flip over her body and see more what has caused this atrocity.
Yeah. So you flip her over. You succeeded on a spot hidden. So I think, and Nicolette, I'm guessing you did not succeed on your medicine. And Lois, I keep wanting to say Louise. It's Lois. Lois, you also succeed on your spot hidden. So I think from the medicine perspective, on the plus side, like it's relatively clear when you kind of nudge her body over, it flops over a little bit more, like the blood is kind of starting to dry on her skin. In answer to one of the questions just came up in chat, you see that her entire throat has been ripped out.
Oh my.
Like it's just like trachea is hanging off. There's ripped flesh. And that's probably your clue to how she died. At that point, like you verify he's dead. The smell gets maybe a little bit stronger, kind of another fresh hit of copper on your nose.
Ladies, I'm no medical expert, but perhaps you'd like me to explain to you that I think she died of a grievous neck wound.
You don't say.
You're welcome. I just am astute like that.
You quite are.
You also see kind of other like rips in her clothing. Like there may have been some struggle, especially like on her hands, kind of her arms. There looks like there's cuts of some kind. Like maybe she was being gripped. I think it's a little bit too early for there to be a lot of bruising or anything like that at this point. So it's kind of it's all very fresh. Like it happened in maybe like the last 30 minutes.
Anything that would indicate claw marks.
You do think that maybe it looks a little clawish? Like hard to tell. Hands also have the same number of fingers, but it's definitely like scratched and sort of cuts like someone was maybe digging in and holding on while they ripped her throat out.
Yeah, at that point, Lois, I think, jumps back from the situation because that's going to bring her back to what happened to her in another time. So,
as you also jump back and you kind of, that's I think the point where Harold and Lois would notice this with their spot hidden as they kind of jump back and look around the room. One of the crates has been ripped into. Like it's open. You see a sort of jagged piece of wood kind of on the ground on the side.
What sort of, if any leftover packing is in that crate, what sort of stuff is at the bottom?
As you go over to the crate, you see like things that have been disrupted. It might pang you a little bit as like probably some precious pot was like tossed to the side.
So it seems like there were artifacts stashed in here, not a wild animal.
Yes, no, this you would recognize as one of the crates from the expedition.
Oh my. Ladies, something even more unsettling has happened. Lois, snap to it. We'll be fine. It seems whatever danger was here has passed. Sorry, you looked faint for a moment there.
I'm sorry. You said it would pass?
Well, whatever it is has done an even more grievous crime. There's an artifact broken. Dun, dun, dun.
It's like a smash pot next to the body of a woman who's had her throat ripped out.
Yeah, she would die eventually, but these artifacts, they live on forever. They tell the story of many people. I don't mean to be insensitive. Of course, she was very nice and, well, Harold wants to go close the boatswain's eyes and maybe whisper a few words.
Very nice of you. She's dead.
And then he goes to the artifact and a tear comes to his eye as he leans down and says even more words under his breath.
All right, so we have a dead body with the throat ripped out. There's indication of potential struggle due to claw marks on the hands, and you're worried about a pot?
No, I'm certainly worried about whatever's done this. Of course, I'm human. I just am very sad about the lack of a historical record that we'll be able to pass on to museums.
Do you know if there is a type of histoire or a story that goes with this artifact or the pot?
Well, to be clear, the pot is probably not the most important thing. Like,
it is just the casualty has been of through. This stuff. Oh, okay.
Yes, you do notice like other things in the crate have like the crate has been like kind of pulled apart, rifled through. There's packing materials. The pot is one of the casualties of whatever ripped this open and started rifling through things.
Can I roll for archaeology to see if I know if something has been taken from this crate?
Yeah. Yeah, give me a normal 16.
Oh no, that is not quite a crit because I have over 50, so only 100 is a critical failure.
Yeah, it's I think rather than you not noticing, I think Harold overestimates and like
Oops.
you don't remember what
Everything's
was in a crate and you make the assumption there's like 5 things are missing from this crate. So you have a list. You know things were taken, but you don't actually know what things were missing from it.
Well, her weapons, artifacts, pottery, it's all gone. It's all gone.
Weapon?
Sure, there were weapons uncovered, ancient weapons.
Okay.
None that could have
Swords
done
and dagger.
this. This looks like a wild animal.
Why would a wild animal go inside a crate and steal things?
Why would
Wait.
a wild animal be on a boat? Your guess is as good as mine.
The dossier. Is there documentation? Is a dossier around? Documentation to see maybe we can figure out what was inside this crate and see what was actually stolen?
You know, I think Harold, you probably have like a copy of it. Because you were one of the.
I read it before
The
bed
other
each
person
night.
who would have it would be Dr. Pendleton.
That's what I was reading as I fell asleep in my armchair earlier this evening. I was just reading and rereading the dossier of the items. 1 plate. Old.
It's like just the description. It's not very interesting, but you love it. Lulled you into the dream that you had.
Enthralling.
Okay. Okay, so we need there's an animal. There's a thing running around.
May I suggest that the 3 of us stick together because one person on their own, well, may meet something quite terrifying.
I think this is a great idea, and you both have weapons, you said, just in case we need to defend ourselves?
I don't know what you're talking about, a weapon.
Oh.
I have tools.
Oh, okay.
Laid out of the way.
I have the means to protect myself and others.
Okay, I have $100, or maybe 10. I think I have $10, so it is not going to be helpful unless I can buy my way out of whatever thing, but this one does not look very reasonable, so this looks, well, this looks like the things that we tell the little children to be scared of. Those village nightmares that they dream of in the French countryside, and it's stuff like this with neck wounds and claws and this I wish I could say this was the first time I saw this, but it is not.
Sorry to hear that. But yes, it seems we have bumped up against the sort of thing that goes bump in the night.
I feel like that's just like a perfect spot for us to like cut to the ad break.
Well, I didn't want to say anything.
No, it's great.
Perfect.
It's great. As you put the pipe, we fade to black.
Don't
And
go
we'll be
anywhere. We'll
back.
be right back. What's up, friends? Thank you so much for watching the Calyx. If you're just joining us, we are at the halfway point. Don't worry, you're going to catch up real quick because it's about to get real scary and bloody. But I just wanted to remind you, hey, we have a sponsor to this show. It is the publishers of the game we are playing. How great is that? If you are interested in picking up any Chaosium products, you can go to chaosium.com. You can pick up all the Call of Cthulhu scenarios. I'm pretty sure I have every bit of their collection in a hard copy at this point, and I love to have both the hard copy and the digital copy. And the reason you should buy directly from their website is, one, you can use our discount code Calyx2021 for 10% off at checkout, which makes us look real good and shiny and special. And also, you get a free PDF with every hard copy that you buy when you buy directly at the website. You can always log back into your Chaosium account, and you can get all your PDFs all in one place, which I use a lot. Highly recommend all of their products. Do I like Mansions of Madness, Binfez? I have run 3 of the 5 scenarios in that book on this here show, and you can find them all on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/goodtimesociety. Cool sponsor is right at Frithiel. And with that, let's get back to the horror aboard the high seas on the Ss Rothbury, heading from Oslo to London.
Bad ever happens on a boat.
Nothing bad ever happens on a boat.
Before they found a body! So welcome to aboard the SS Rothbury. We have our intrepid crew of perhaps we shall say unintentional investigators. I don't think they signed up for this, but they are certainly the folks who are interested in what is going on. They are on the boat. They are transporting, well, the boat is transporting, and they are tangentially involved to the transport of said artifacts from a dig up in the Arctic Circle from Oslo to London. And it's the second night. They would be arriving sometime early in the morning, but the boat suddenly stopped, dead in the water. The engines don't seem to be working properly, and the temperature has been dropping. There's been flurries of snow, the wind whipping and whispering. Totally not whispering. That would be weird. Wind wouldn't do that. You didn't hear anything. And after the boat stopped, we have an engineer aboard. So she graciously decided that she was going to attempt to see what was wrong with the engines, because the crew is being suspicious, but also just trying to ease the nerves of people here. So they made their way down to a room where a young gentleman flung out of a room of the storage room, not in fact from the engines where they were headed, gasping about a body. He ran off to go get the medic. They went inside, and they did indeed find the body with a young woman, crew member, a boatswain, with her throat ripped out. And she was lying dead on the ground, because that's kind of what happens when your throat gets ripped out. There were signs of struggle, and one of the crates that had been carrying these precious artifacts had been ripped open, things tossed aside. One precious artifact that will never be recovered again has been smashed and broken, and others seem to be rifled through and dug through. So we return. Perhaps we can jump to when you are in the room over in the quarters of Harold. Is that where you head to next?
Certainly, I would demand. I need to go through my things and make sure no one's tried to steal my coin that was promised.
So do you want to investigate, like dig through kind of everything and write down like what's in the crate, or do you want to just head straight to look at your dossier?
That's right. I have a dossier, and I would like to invite these fine ladies to step into my cabin and investigate the dossier.
Okay, so you kind of want to compare what you saw in the crate to what you've written down to see if anything you could find was missing. Is that sort of your goal?
Yes, I'm also interested, as I relate to my companions, in what that young man is up to that first found the body. I'm very mistrustful.
I think probably as you're leaving, that's when he comes back with the medic.
All right, I trust him a little more now.
Took him a while to find the person. There was maybe some other woman, I don't know, had a sprained ankle.
Steel yourself. There is a woman missing a throat.
The young man does not want to go back in. He sort of like points to where the medic is and is like, I'm gonna wait out here. And the medic is not necessarily prepared. But do you stay with him, or do you kind of let him take care of the body?
Young man, did you see anyone walking around in these parts before you went in and found that body?
No, I didn't see a soul. It's been quiet down here except for the engineers down in engineering. I came down here to get some supplies.
All right. Well, do we want to go back up, or do you all want to continue looking for the boiler to see if we can find out why it stopped?
Personally, I'm torn, to be honest with you, because I do want to see what's missing, but I also want to fix said engine.
Is that a request to split the party?
I think so.
Yeah, you could totally do that. How do we want to split the group?
Well, certainly I need to refer to this dossier because I am very upset by the possible missing artifacts.
And I really need to go fix the engine because as fast as I can get heat on here, the better we're going to be.
I have heard that people die more in the boiler room, so I'm going to not go that way. I'm going to choose a dossier. Seems a much nicer, more pleasant option.
Well,
but are you
let me just say so, Nicolette.
Yes, also the guy who has the protection.
All right then. I offer my elbow, but I think the lower levels of the boat hallway is probably very narrow, so we have to turn sideways and then after you.
It's okay. Thank you.
It's awkward.
I appreciate it.
Okay. So Nicolette and Harold, you head back up to Harold's room to see if you can compare notes between what was in the dossier and what you saw left in the crate.
Yeah, I want to tell Lois, perhaps we'll meet back up shortly. I don't feel as though we should be separated for too long with something vicious roaming about.
I hope so too.
And Lois, you head further down the hallway, kind of past where the storage room was to where the engineering is. And I think as you get closer, you start hearing like a little bit more noise, like there's sounds of people talking. There's a bit of a commotion. It's a heavy door, so you don't hear, like, you can't really make out what they're saying behind it, but it doesn't surprise you. Like, there should be engineers in engineering.
Yep.
You open the door, and it's pretty cold in here. Like, there's a few lamps lighting the area, and there's kind of a hustle and bustle of the few mechanics sort of, like... In my mind, this is how mechanics work. They're hitting pipes, and they're, like, yelling at it, and they're, like, kicking it, and they're like, well, work, damn you, boiler!
That sounds about accurate, to be honest with you, having worked with actual mechanics.
And so it's a bit of a contrast in here from the previous room with the dead body in it.
I'm gonna walk up to one of them. Excuse me.
Hello.
Who's leading this effort here?
He'll gesture over to we'll say Robert Fisher. He's the one in charge of the engineering.
Okay, Mr. Fisher. What seems to be the root cause of the problem here?
So you walk over to him. He turns around. He's like, "Oh, well, sorry, we're in the bit of the middle of something here. Boiler's shut down. What are you? Who? I'm sorry, miss. I think you're lost."
I show him my tools. I don't think I'm lost, actually. I'm Miss Russo. I'm actually an engineering student here aboard the ship. Thought I can lend my expertise in hopes to locate the root cause of the failure of this engine.
It gives you this look. It's like, you use some fancy words in there about root causes. And also, you're a student?
Yeah, did I not make that clear?
I feel like you should give me a persuade, unless you think this is like a...
Can I intimidate?
Ooh, how do you want to make... Yeah, what do you do that's so intimidating, besides use fancy words?
Basically I'm going to give him, like, the evil mom stare of, like, you question me again, I swear I will do something that you're not going to enjoy later on.
I'll put this
You
wrench
know
where this
who my father is?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to say that, but, like...
Yeah, go for it. Give me an intimidate. Let's say it's normal success. Or
Oh my god, roll 20 hates me!
You're cursed. You're cursed. He looks at you and he's like, well, the engines are broken, miss. And we're working on getting it together. So I appreciate your concern, but you are a passenger aboard this lovely vessel. So why don't you skedaddle out of here? And he sort of like gently corrals you out of the engine doors. You can maybe take a chance to like look around and kind of give it a quick assessment if you want, but they don't seem to be giving you a lot of attention.
I'm gonna try one more time to persuade said person.
Okay.
To allow me to stay here. Again, I'm going to intimidate, and this time I really am gonna, kind of just give him the look of like, do you have no idea who I am? Do you understand that I'm the one that's pretty close to in charge of your payroll? And if you want to get paid for this expedition, I highly suggest that perhaps maybe I should help you look at what's causing the issues of this engine.
Roll with the bonus die.
Ooh, how do I do that?
I believe
There's a button for bonus after the roll.
Yeah, so make your roll as normal.
Oh!
Doesn't matter. You got an extreme success. He pauses for a second. He kind of looks you up and down. He looks at like your bag of tools. Right this way. Just kind of like swallows back his pride. Gestures you over to the engine, kind of stands there with his arms crossed. He says, "It's broken."
Evidently. Have we checked all the valves to make sure that the system is working properly?
Yeah, we've tried turning it off and turning it back on again, yeah.
That's not what I meant. I meant, did you look at all the valves to make sure that any of the oxygen is escaping? Is there any holes in here? I'm looking at any sort of gap. I'm looking for a gap analysis here.
So he'll provide you some information from this. He begrudgingly, like as you ask questions that are surprisingly patient with him, he's being kind of an ass. And his sort of basic assessment from what he understands is like the heat is not being retained. So like it's a steamship. They're not like, even though they're burning fuel, it's just like cooling down so quickly. And there was like a sudden snap freeze, like the engines were being, the steam ain't steaming. And there was and so they're trying to kind of like heat it back up again, and that seems to be the issue right now.
So I do have a skill set that's very high up. I'd love to use to assess what's going on. I have mechanical repair.
Yeah, go ahead. And I don't think you're going to be able to fix it all on your own, but you can definitely get a sense
Since
of
that
like,
was just in the scenario.
what's going on.
Since that would just, solve the problem without fighting any monsters.
Well, here's the thing. You're still stuck on the boat, so even if you get the engine going. So as you do the percussive maintenance, you manage to get some of it. Like you get up to it, and like when you touch it, it's cold. Like you see actual frost on the boilers. And I think you're able to identify, especially with such an extreme success, like a route to getting it heated up, and like they should be able to get it moving, assuming nothing gets worse or like worsens. They should be able to start moving again in the hour.
Okay. So I'm gonna relay all that kind of information back to him. I don't think I have the skill set, but I'm still gonna ask anyways. I want to make sure that it's not magically inclined that something has happened or something like out of the ordinary.
Yeah. There shouldn't be frost on these engines. Like this, this is not normal. Like this is like the equivalent of putting it outside or like submerging it in like freezing temperatures.
Inside the room, there's actual frost. Roger that. Understood. Can I would like to make a spot hidden roll to see if I can find the source, or rather the root cause of where maybe this frost is coming from.
Yeah. Give me a spot hidden. This is probably very difficult. Regular success.
Apparently, it's complaining about Roll20 works.
I think what you're able to do is discern that it is not, whatever was causing it is no longer here.
Okay. Great. So I'm going to relay information on how to fix the engine. I'm not going to fix it for them because I'm a lady and don't get
You're
my
a lady.
hands dirty like this.
Yeah, no, we see that. Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll open this valve and we'll twiddle the. Yeah.
Great. Don't break anything. Don't over torque. Otherwise,
no torquing.
Great. Wonderful. And I'm just gonna like back out of there. Like, okay, I got information, and I recall that they were going to Mr. Short's Mr. Short's place. That big system.
Going up to Harold Small's room.
I'm gonna like hightail it, like just in case something happens.
You running? Okay. So you book it back up there. Nothing happens to you on your way up. You don't run into anyone. There's still like a bit of commotion. You haven't been gone for super long. I'll be honest. Right now the crew is also very focused on people not panicking that there's a dead body on the boat. So they're doing a lot to try and like keep people in the rooms and not talking to each other. But like every time you pass a crew member, they're like, "Shh, a little bit. Do you know what? Oh my gosh, what happened?" There's just like a lot of gossip going on.
Trying to just make my way kind of stealth out so like nobody recognizes that I'm like trying to make my way through to get to them.
You take a very circuitous route.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Harold and Nicolette, you have been in Harold's room.
Yes, my name is Small, but it doesn't reflect on who I am as man.
I don't know what to say to that. I'm guessing you're talking about your spirits.
That's correct.
Yes, okay. That's good. You have no small spirits. Okay.
Thank you. I just meant some people call me Harold Short, and they're wrong. I'm Smalls, but I'm not small in my heart.
I did not see a small heart in a man like yourself.
Anyway, what do you think of this dead body we found?
It is absolutely terrible. I think I'm just bringing back some childhood trauma, and the reason why I went to escape to Paris was because in the village where I'm from, this is not an uncommon thing. So
Throats ripped out?
Yes.
You've seen this sort of thing before. Oh, you poor dear.
As a child. But I tried to block it out with delicious things in Paris and with fashion, but I guess you
The
can have
passion for fashion, you say?
a passion for fashion, for sure. And
Interesting.
I think that the past always comes back to haunt you, so what do you think?
I think I spent my life seeking out the past, wishing it would haunt me. That's why I dig, you see.
I'm going to think about. I see, I understand. Yes, because you are.
The dirt, it holds answers.
It
Yes,
does.
archaeology. And that's why I must refer to this dossier. And I would like to check the dossier to see if I can cross-reference with what I remember seeing down in the storage room and see what's missing.
Is there like a memory? Or,
You could do a knowledge.
yeah, I think that's probably what it would be then. Just like straight up what
Or
do you
intelligence,
remember?
sorry.
Intelligence.
Yeah, it's called a no roll.
A no roll. A yes roll.
Oh!
Ooh. You
Yes,
just
I
squeak a
no
success.
roll.
I think it takes a while. Like you have to go through line by line and check them off, and you're writing a list. And it's not a quick process to really dig into this dossier. There was quite a few artifacts. And then you also have to sort of break it down into like what crate was each thing. There were a couple of different crates. There were some like really big heavy ones. There was a smaller one.
And I paused to explain all this to Nicolette many times, so she'll be impressed by my prowess with artifact knowledge.
You're not small memory.
It's not so small, you see.
And maybe like right around the time that Lois is joining you in the room, that's when you sort of, it clicks and you realize what item was missing, and it was one of the daggers. It was a ancient dagger from this sort of Norwegian site up in the Arctic Circle in Norway, and it had been kind of carved and inlaid with some beautiful patterns. Like that part definitely stood out to you, but beyond that, you don't remember a whole lot about it. It is documented as Blade of the Gale, as in Gale.
That's it! The Blade of the Gale! Lois, come in! I found it. There's a missing dagger. Can I, based on what I know of the shape of the blade's edge, did it look like this blade could have done what happened to that woman?
I think, I mean, it is like in the sense that any knife could have, yes. Like, but it would have been like a hacking process, right? Like it wasn't like Wolverine claws. It's like a dagger, from what you remember.
That happened on the body. It was more dagger than Wolverine.
No, the ones that you saw looked like this
Wolverine.
portion was missing. So if someone were to have done that, it would have been like, I'm trying to describe this, but like a process of like going in and like cutting it out probably
It'd take too
not.
long. Okay, possible. It's possible these made the wounds we saw, but I have a feeling it was something stranger that did it. Something with a good mashy tooth and a long nail.
Speaking of strange, when I was down in the engine boiler room, the most strangest thing I found was that there was frost on the engine inside the room.
It feels like the last place that should freeze. If I look around, like the pipe in the room, for example, is that frozen?
Not right now. It's definitely cold. Like the heating is not back on yet.
That seems most unnatural.
If you look outside the window, you would like the porthole. You would definitely see more snow. It's getting denser.
Whatever's going on here is certainly not of the normal or natural state.
Does anyone know how far we are from shore? Just checking to see if it is possible to think about a little escape from this iceberg-filled, snowing monster-run ship.
Why is it, Miss Debutante, was it, that you are so inclined as to escape the ship?
Because I think something very bad is happening. I just heard it, I feel it, and then we found a dead body. How are you inclined to think there's not something wrong with this ship?
Well, I'm inclined to think that there's nothing that I can't handle, or isn't made better by my presence.
Like a monster-ridden ship?
That's correct. What monster? Who said monster? I think it's a wild animal.
I don't know, I think it is monster.
Why do you think it's a monster?
Because I was telling our friend Mr. Smalls here that I have seen this before in these villages in France.
Yes, apparently women don't have throats often in small villages in France.
They got freaked out. They got freaked out by when I was 3 years old, and I saw some things that I wasn't supposed to see, so I was shipped off to the city.
What did you see?
I heard these noises at night, and it was also very cold, which is why I fear icebergs. And I saw these creatures and these shadows, and then the next morning there were 5 little children with their throats ripped out. So
yeah, I want to see if she's lying, Keeper.
Yeah, this is intense. Go for it. Yes, give me a probably psychology.
Oh no!
Versus
well, whatever it was supposed to be, she rolled a 99.
Oh no, I didn't roll it yet. That was spot hidden.
Yeah, that was. Okay. Wow. You rolled a 9 versus a 10.
Oh, and am I also?
Yeah. If you're lying, then you can roll like persuade or fast talk. If you're telling the truth, then you don't really need to roll anything.
Okay. I'm telling the truth.
She's telling the truth.
There's a couple of things I think here. The first is that perhaps you, Nicolette, are cursed. That's one thought that occurs to me. And the second is that, speaking of cursed, were these bosuns? Botswans?
Boat people.
Both people concerned about some sort of curse or muttering of something before we even found a body?
But that is because it is not a curse, it is things that have happened.
Sounds like Things could happen as the result of a curse. In fact, most curses do cause things to happen.
Have you seen curses before?
I've seen items that have been rumored to be cursed. I spend most of my time submitting items to museums that I find, digging with my fingers in the dirt.
Wouldn't you be more likely to be cursed because you have spent so much time touching these objects that might give curses?
He goes over the tiny porthole and looks out. Yes, perhaps I'm cursed.
Look outside. Like, it's gonna be the point where it's like very heavy snow, like almost white.
He touches the window.
It's cold.
It's very cold out there. I relate to them.
Oh, really?
Importantly. Would you be interested in perhaps talking to the crew members? Perhaps the ones you overheard earlier, Ms. Russo?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm not sure we're going to get a lot of information from them because a lot of what they're saying is hearsay, but I'm happy to go talk to them.
Well, perhaps we need to be more persuasive. And I flash my weapon.
Well, by all means.
I would like to get to the bottom of a missing dagger. In fact, I might even report this to Dr. Pendleton. My accent changed again, it's fine.
Fine. Sean Connery.
I
You want to go to Dr. Pendleton's room?
Yeah, I think that's the best choice. That's what I'm voting for.
She's very charmed by me. I should probably, definitely pay her a visit.
Yes, charmed indeed.
Yes. I think we should all go together.
Sounds good.
Okay. As you exit your room and make your way down there, it's dark. The lights are flickering. We'll say Dr. Pendleton's she's pretty close-ish. I think on this floor is where her cabin is. And you, I assume you knock on the door. Or do you barge in? How do you want to get in there?
Oh, definitely knock. I'm just trying to decide, is there a tune that I try to knock to, or,
I don't know. You
bump, 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 bump.
You tell me. You knock on the door and there's no response.
To a charming knock like that? Well, what do you propose we do, Lois?
I mean, we can always just kick down the door. This is kind of a state of an emergency.
By all.
Oh man, that means I gotta do this.
You want to kick down the door? Do you want to lockpick the door? If you try the handle, it does appear to be locked.
Yeah, well, then I'm gonna kick down the door.
That's your response. I guess this is a strength roll.
Okay, I have brawl, if that helps.
You're not really fighting. You're
you know
just
what? I'll go strength.
Strengthing your way through the door.
That's fine. You're gonna love my
You
stat.
are very strong.
Are you very strong? Are you strong, lady?
I'm very
She's
strong.
lady. He's very good strong.
Why? How?
Spin for luck! Spin for luck!
You can totally spend 4 luck to get.
I'm spending some luck here.
Okay.
This is ridiculous. Roll 20. Do better.
This is. I mean, before you rolled a 9, on your psychology.
So ridiculous.
Tell me both how you don't succeed at first and how you try again.
So I think I try to kick it the first. I have high heels on. I am a lady.
You're a lady.
Yeah, and so when I went to go first kick it, my skirt kind of got caught too, and I was just
awkward.
So I tell Harold to turn around.
That's why you need a midi skirt, not this full length nonsense.
Yes, you need a midi.
And so I hike up the skirt and kick it open.
The resounding crash, the not massively sturdy lock of the boat door snaps, and the door flings open and clatters on its hinge. The room inside is dark. There's no lights on.
I'm sure I have a match for my pipe. I'd like to strike a match.
You strike a match and illuminate a very small space in front of your face. Most of the room's still dark. There are gas lamps. You could light one.
I'll light one if maybe the match leads me to it.
You head over, you light one of the gas lamps, and the room is empty from what you can tell. You don't see, like, Dr. Pendleton is not in the room. And as you look around, the bed doesn't look particularly disturbed, like the sheets are made. There is maybe the remnants of a meal on the table that hasn't been picked up yet. Nothing like that. Nothing jumps out at you. You're not, like, mauled or by a tiger or something.
No tigers here.
This is very good.
I would like to search for, since we have free reign of the head of the expedition's quarters, I would like to just search and see if there's anything fishy sitting on her desk.
All right, everyone go ahead and give me some spot hiddens. Let's see what you find. A success from Nicolette and a failure from Harold and Lois. I don't think any of you could push those. So, Harold, you don't find anything particularly interesting. There's no, like, you see her book that she was reading earlier. It's on the table. And
I'll pick it up and read the back cover.
You get distracted by the back cover. Yeah. I'd say Lois, like, you know, the bed is made. You see her clothes are you know, in her wardrobe are sort of dull and bland, nothing particularly interesting. Nicolette, you look around and you notice the first thing you see on the floor. You see a crumpled dress of some kind, some clothing, and you pick it up and you look at it, and it's kind of torn. Like, the sleeves are shredded. There's some blood on it.
Did you know that this book was written in 1919? A great year to write books.
I say that is so interesting, but also what is more interesting is that there is a scrap of fabric with some blood on it.
Is this your fashion design skills? Is this the latest fashion that tells you this?
Amber is a very unique color that is coming into style, but no, unfortunately, not this shade. Is it possible to tell how old it is from the...
Yeah, I mean,
blood?
I think it's dry, but it's not like, how do I describe bread without being super gross? It's like dry, but it's not like crusty yet.
I think because it is dry but not yet crusty, that is
I was waiting for the word crusty with this accent.
This happens in the last hour or two. Maybe.
And what you're holding is like a blouse.
But certainly not 4.
I'm gonna sniff it.
It's blood. It smells like copper.
It's blood. Well, it occurs to me that the death we witnessed, or, you know, found the remnants of, also may have happened within the last hour. Do you think they're related? Like, perhaps she was the killer. This could have been the bosun fighting for her life and ripping the doctor's blouse.
But I don't know that she would have taken time to do 5 slices here and 5 slices there.
So you think the animal or whatever creature attacked them both?
Unless someone was trying to make it look like an animal or a creature.
Is it possible that maybe the doctor unleashed some sort of animal? I mean, what was missing again? Was a dagger?
I'm glad you asked. Sit down and I'll tell you about the ancient daggers of the early Vikings. This one was carved with beautiful patterns. They call it the Blade of the Gale. I don't know if it's cursed or not. Of course, everything is cursed if you ask the right people.
Okay, so we have a potentially cursed dagger, a AWOL doctor, And a dead boatswain?
Bosun.
Crew member. Yeah, so the blouse that you're holding, the sleeves are shredded, like the seams are ripped, and there's definitely blood both kind of all over. It's like on the front mostly. It's not really on the back. If you look around more, you'll probably find like a towel that's like thrown on the ground in the bathroom, the vanity, wherever that would be, that also has blood on it.
I can surmise that she has been bloodied. Or bloody. Bloodied another.
Observation.
I'm full of them.
I think that she is probably still alive then, because her body is not here. It looks like she was able to towel herself off. But it is only on the front, so that is interesting. Very good material.
If I may infer, if it's only in the front of her blouse, it means that it is a possibility that the crew member was in fact in front of her and not behind. So the question is, did the doctor do this, or did the doctor come upon a scene?
Great questions. Based on my previous knowledge of the doctor, I'm inclined to think the latter. Also, I will posit that she did not have her throat ripped out, as she was able to walk back to her cabin, remove her dress, and wipe down with a towel.
My goodness, that is such a wonderful insight.
Well, don't be too impressed. I am an archaeologist, so I'm good at discovering things.
Evidently.
Shall we search out more of the crew to inquire whether they've seen Dr. Pendleton?
Yes, I think so.
Well, if Nicolette thinks so, then I am on board.
All right, then. Lead the way, Nicolette. In your midi.
Yes, it is a midi meant for leadership. So, by the way, you can get them on my store. You should come to the store that I have in Londres sometimes. Anyway, let us go. I would love to find those workers here who were very worried about the things last night. Is that possible to find them and track them down?
I mean, if you want to find like specific crew members, it'll definitely take a little bit more time than finding like generic crew person. Like generic crew people will be faster because you'll walk around and probably run into one eventually.
Okay.
To find the specific one, you can totally do it. It'll just take slightly longer because you basically have to try and describe these two individuals whose names you don't know to all of the crew people that you meet. Oh, you have a name. You do know Thomas. That's right. Thank you, chat, for reminding us. You know Thomas. But it's not like Thomas is a particularly uncommon name, so there's probably like 3 Thomases. So we don't
I'll
need
just
to
step
narrate
out
it, but
onto
if you
the
want to
deck and
find
yell Thomas.
those 2 specific people, it takes a little bit of time. But you kind of ask around, you ask for Thomas, you get led to a different Thomas, and you eventually find them. I'm gonna just roll. I'm gonna roll a 1d2. They are either together or they are separate. If it's odd, they're together. If it's even, they're separate. Like either you find both of them or find one of them. Odd, they're together. So you find both Thomas and the woman that he was with the previous day.
Fantastic. Hello, Thomas. I am Nicolette. I believe we spoke last night. How are you doing, and how is your friend doing? Are you okay?
Thomas looks a little nervous, but like less so nervous. And I think the woman will say her name is Ellen, and she is less composed, I think, than she was the previous night.
Oh, okay.
Thomas and Thomasina.
Ellen, enchantée, and I am wondering if you are feeling as good about the weather as you were yesterday.
Oh, well, bit more of a blizzard than we thought it was going to be.
Yes. So,
Probably
did you
best to go
not
back
see
to
that
your...
there was a dead man in below?
They kind of look at each other and you're like, how did you find out about that?
Woman, dead woman, throat, gone.
Dead woman. I meant dead person.
did you find out about that? No one's supposed to know except for the crew, and we're supposed to keep it quiet.
Well, we literally stumbled upon it, so...
Oh God, are you all right?
We are okay, I think. We are okay.
Harold's eye twitches.
Harold may not be okay, but we shall see. We are still just exploring, but if there is any information that you could possibly give us...
Why are you searching? This shouldn't be your guests. This shouldn't be your problem. I'm so sorry you stumbled across that. We don't exactly protocol for how to deal with dead bodies.
I see.
Well, we do, but those are for like old people who die on a boat.
Okay. Well, even if there is not a protocol, it is very important to us that you can tell us anything that you can, because I think yesterday you were feeling a little bit nervous and suspicious about things happening, yes?
You kind of look, and Thomas is definitely a bit more shifty. Go ahead and give me a charm. It sounds like that's what you're charming. Telling you what's going on.
That's just the French accent.
I mean, it's very charming.
I'm so charming. Oh no, it's failure. No.
Oh no.
Thomas looks like he's about to say something, and he looks like he's like, I knew it. I told you. And the other Ellen just like she's like.
I'm gonna step up at that point as I disappear on the camera. It's great.
As you disappear, you like pop up behind them. Surprise!
Hi. I'm gonna basically cross my arms and be like, "What is it exactly you were trying to say?" And I'm gonna try to intimidate him by like crossing my arms and looking like super mean.
Yeah, go ahead and give me an intimidate.
And dare I say, beefy, because I am an athlete. Well, okay,
beefy intimidation.
Yeah.
You can spend. Can you spend another 10?
Yeah,
spend
I sure can.
You can spend some luck.
I'm spending some luck.
Spend that luck. You size him up. He's startled as you like appear behind him, and I think at that moment like Ellen realizes she's sort of lost control over this, and Thomas blurts out and he's like, "I told you this was a bad idea from the start. Bringing old relics onto a boat. Something's haunted. Something's cursed. There's a blizzard outside. It's fall. It's September. There's not supposed to be a blizzard out here. We're gonna die in the middle of the ocean. We're gonna freeze to death."
Okay, I need you to get a hold of yourself for one moment, please. And I need you to explain to me, why do you think that this is an actual problem? Have you seen something like this before?
There's no blizzards in the middle of the ocean in September. This doesn't happen.
Exactement.
I don't know. I've got a feeling in my gut that we're all gonna die.
That's a terrible thing to say.
Have you seen anything terrible in your childhood before? Like ripped throats by any chance?
What is your obsession with childhood trauma, Nicolette?
I just...
I've had a very
lie.
well-adjusted life. I don't know. And I think he looks at you, Harold, like when you're asking that. He's like, I don't know, something about you and your expedition, whatever weirdness you brought on this boat.
No, I'm English. We don't talk about things that happened in our childhood. It couldn't be me.
I'm not talking about your trauma. I don't give a crap about your trauma. I'm talking about whatever's down there in that room. There's something cursed in there.
Well, yes, speaking of things cursed, what has gone missing? What do you know of what's been taken from the storeroom?
Why would I know what's in there? It's your stuff.
Oh, it was until it was stolen, and then it should be mine, but it isn't.
I think he doesn't know what to say in response to that. As you are there, you hear like the boat sort of creaks. Like there's definitely the wind outside is picking up.
How about an easy question for you? Have you seen the doctor?
Don't know what it is, but she seems the most suspicious of all of you.
All of us?
You're with the expedition, not you. Sorry, miss. You're fine. You're French. That weird expedition that you were on with the artifacts and the stuff that you put in our storeroom. I saw her. I think she went out onto the deck at some point. I don't know. There's a bloody blizzard out there. What's she doing?
Is she out there now?
That's where I last saw her heading.
Heading? Does she still have a head? We shall see.
Lois
Anyway,
basically booked it in
Thomas.
that direction.
Thomas and Ellen, one more question for you. You were suspicious of us before there was ever any death aboard the ship. Was it just because of what we brought aboard? Or anything else that piqued your
Ellen
curiosity?
like rolls her eyes, but she's like, Thomas is a naturally suspicious person. Thomas is like, I was right this time though. Who orders a raw steak to their room? And then he,
Wait. Who ordered a raw steak? The doctor?
the doctor. That's why I said she was the weirdest one of you.
A raw steak to a room.
Do you think the doctor is a cannibal?
We don't serve. It wasn't a people steak. It was a cow. I don't know. Maybe.
I did not know. You did not specify.
That's where the
Cool.
throat
Thank you,
went.
Thomas, for your time. And Ellen, yes. I'm gonna hightail after Lois.
Me too, because I say adieu, and it was a pleasure to see you again, Ellen and Thomas.
Last time we're letting researchers on board a ship, and Ellen's like, Thomas, it's fine. We'll be fine. He's like, we're gonna die, and then you walk away. So, Nicolette, I think you'll probably catch up with him pretty quickly, but you are hightailing it out. So he pointed in the direction towards one of the upper decks. And Lois, as you head out there, you kind of open the door onto the deck, and like at that point, that's when you are hit with the realization that you're actually now in the middle of a snowstorm. And there are snowflakes swirling around you. The wind is whipping up, and now the sound is hard to get away from. It is a scream on the wind, a moan of despair and pain. That is what the wind sounds like. I need you to roll a sanity check.
That's excruciating.
Doop 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 doop.
Ha! Ha!
Once again, you hold it together.
Oh,
Despite the fact that the wind sounds like it is pleading for freedom, that it is being tortured, and there is a deep guttural to it.
I hold my rosary and I am doing a lot of prayers. I'm going to flip my hood on and be like, it's just the wind. It's just the wind. It's just the wind.
The weird wind, but it's just the wind.
It's just the
Totally
wind.
Normal wind.
I am talking to myself though, so if Harold shows up, I am certainly
Do
talking
you
to myself.
go anywhere, or do you just stay kind of toward, like, just outside the door?
Just outside the door because I kind of don't know which way to go, and being caught off by the wind a little bit is just kind of like I need to do my prayers. Like, oh God.
So Harold and Harold and Nicolette, you exit the door. The same thing. You are hit by this sudden. First, you see in front of you Lois, but you are also hit by this sort of sudden snowstorm that you realize that you're in. You can barely see the deck of this boat. Like it's a little bit there, but this is full on becoming a blizzard that you're stuck in. Also in the middle of the ocean, so the boat is rocking. It is sort of churning and lurching in the water as the wind is picking up the waves and lapping. And more importantly, the wind sounds like someone screaming in pain in your ears and deep inside your mind. And I need both of you to roll sanity checks.
the thing that really puts Harold over the top is when his pipe goes out. Oh, he failed again.
Ooh. Ooh. Failure from both of you. Wow. Okay. Okay.
They do not like the cold.
This one is all right. Still 1d3, but it's not quite as. So Harold, you take 1 point of sanity loss. And then Nicolette, you take 3.
Ooh. D'accord.
It's going. It's going. None of you have surpassed, I believe it's 5 in one go or 6 in one go.
5 in 1 go for temporary insanity. And
there
if
yet.
you lose more than 1/5 of your sanity in a single game day, which for me is 10 points because I have 50 sanity, then you go indefinitely insane. So, you
just keep track of that.
to
So far, you've only
nunnery.
done 2 sanity checks, so none of you would have lost more than. I think you've lost 6, Nicolette.
I have lost. I have 88 out of 100, so a B plus in sanity.
B plus insanity. I love it.
It's not so bad. Not so
Yeah,
bad.
I got a B plus sanity. That's about how I feel most of the time.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, that feels right. Most of the
Sometimes
time,
I'm a C.
debatable. Yeah.
All right. So you are on the deck. The door kind of closes behind you. You can still see where you came out from. There's the deck in front of you, and I think we'll say like ahead of you would be where like the captain's area is. It's a relatively large deck, but at this point it's somewhat difficult to see. It's a little bit treacherous at this point. There's snow coming down. The ground is becoming slippery. You maybe have this realize that the boat is rocking and that kind of getting anywhere is going to be a touch perilous, just in the sense that if you slip and fall, you could keel over into the ocean.
I think out of the fear of failing my sanity roll, Harold will grab for Lois's arm and grab for Nicolette on the other one and just, maybe for a second he tries to pretend it's for him to protect you in a manly way, but really he's just very much cowering in fear and trying to hold both of you close because he's so scared.
Oh.
Is this all right?
It's fine. It's fine. Okay.
All right.
You are cold. You are cold, little.
Yes, it's just cold. Just cold. I thought I'd keep you warm. Should we stay close to the inside of the boat? It could rock at any moment, you know.
Yeah. Okay, we need to find the doctor, and quickly. And it's possible that you think that she might be dangerous?
Yes, I think that's definitely a possibility.
Okay.
I think that when you say that, Harold is going to unsheath his weapon.
Okay.
Don't make it weird.
At that moment, I'm
To
actually
me?
To everyone. Generic
I'm
statement.
gonna casually or stealthily slip out my switchblade or my switch knife to the side.
All right. How do you want to find the doctor? You knew she went out here. Here being the deck. Somewhere.
I imagine we'll try and do a whole counterclockwise circle.
You just wanna walk around the deck? Do you want to try and discern where she might have gone in any way?
Oh, like footsteps in snow.
I mean, you can just go for it, but like
I will
can do
look
it.
down and see if there are footsteps in this snow.
Go ahead and give me a spot hidden. Just see if you can find a direction.
Hey, we got it.
Yeah.
A regular success. So you look down and you do see some footprints. There's maybe a few that are sort of takes you a moment to discern them, and then you also kind of look up, and through the blizzard you can also see ahead of you on the sort of far side of the deck. There is, maybe 100 feet away. It's like a 200, 300 foot deck or so. 100, we'll say 200 feet away. It's like the other side of the boat. You see above you in the sky, you sort of make it out that it looks like the clouds are swirling in a very specific pattern. Like they are circling in on something. It is not just ominous cloud cover. There is a sort of sense of direction to all of this, which also happens to go with the footprints that you saw.
Should we turn back, maybe get a lifeboat and just paddle back to London ourselves?
That was my suggestion at the beginning.
Right,
All right,
right.
you two, calm down. We're going to get to the bottom of this. We're not going to go to the bottom of the ocean, okay?
I don't know. That's how all of the press tends to end.
You know, I was doubtful at first, but Nicolette seems to have some very reasonable ideas about fleeing in fear and the like.
I think it is quite useful if you would like to survive. At least that was how I grew up. But
Yes, you lived.
There's a lifeboat just to the side of you.
is there anyone on the lifeboat?
No, you can lower it down. You can get in the lifeboat. I will also remind you that you're in a blizzard.
Yes, the other thing is that there is a storm making very weird patterns, and
that you're probably
can we see shore? Can we see
hundreds of miles off of the coast of anywhere?
So no. Okay.
Up to you.
Yes, now that
I
we
won't-
look at
I
the
won't
boat
say
and
no.
look at the
It'll just-
sea,
But-
it seems like we are much more likely to die on that small boat than perhaps we cower back in the storage room. Why would they have a kill in the same room twice?
But Harold, wouldn't you want to know who took the dagger?
What broke the
So
pot?
conflicted.
What broke the pot?
Yes, you're right. There was a pot broken. And I am a man of morals. Strong morals. All right.
Could you
Who
imagine?
stole the dagger? Who broke the pot? Not who murdered the young woman.
Could you imagine the documentary?
Archaeologist.
Can you imagine the book that you could write on this information, including the information that you have about the coin?
Sure, no, yes, but it's not for me, you understand. It's not for me that I wish to devote my life to archaeology. It's for others. To preserve, to understand those that came before. Anyway, shall we go see what's causing this swirling, terrifying snowstorm just upon our boat?
Yes, I think we should approach this with caution, though.
Sure. I'll follow your lead, Lois.
And I totally like crouch down against the side of the boat, and I like slowly crab walk over there.
I try to
kinda
completely
keep
mimic
low,
all of her
avoid-
mannerisms.
Avoid the wind. I think we'll if you're being cautious and you're not just running across, we'll make it a regular success. But I do think this is some treacherous ground, so we'll have you roll.
Dex?
I was like, I have stealth.
Yeah, I was thinking it's Dex as probably the most likely.
It's like the nice one.
Yeah, like your
Sure.
flat.
I
Your
could dex.
flat Dex.
I could dex this. I say confidently, and I'm gonna roll horribly. Watch. Oh! Oh!
Ooh.
Extreme success.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh, go ahead.
Nicolette.
Okay, so we have a regular success from
Yes.
Lois, like just barely. We have an extreme success from Harold and Nicolette. However, we have a failure. So I think it balances out to an overall success. But Harold, how does your extreme success save Nicolette from her failure?
I think that Harold will perfectly mimic the actions of Lois and do a spider walk, crab walk. But because he had chosen to lock elbows with these two companions, he immediately feels the shift in balance as her high heels start to pull her towards the edge of the ship. And Harold swoops around, his fur coat flying, as he lifts Nicolette off her feet and sets her down gently.
Can I add for flavoring as the fur coat like flips up so debonair? There's Lois in the background being like.
Smacks her in the face. Perfect.
That's exactly what happens. It's a beautiful, dramatic, tense moment. But you are able to recover. No one gets hurt. No one pitches overboard into the dark, swirling ocean beneath you. Yet, at least. And you make your way across the deck to the prow of the boat. It's a dramatic moment. The sort of place that you might stand with your arms outstretched as the ship crashes into an iceberg. But there's no iceberg, but there is a swirling storm above you. The clouds are massing. The wind here is whipping around you. The blizzard seems to have a direction to it. And almost in the center, although it's not like the eye of a storm, but it seems to be kind of the center of this point, you see a figure standing there. They have their arms outstretched above them, and you can't quite make it out, but you think maybe something is carved into the wooden deck of the boat in front of them, like something on the ground. And there's some sort of object in the center.
Oh
Is
my
there any
no.
chanting involved?
You can't quite make it out over the sound of the ocean, of the wind, especially that screaming and moaning. But as you get closer, it seems almost as if this person there, first of all, you recognize her. It is Dr. Pendleton. She's changed. She's not in her bloody clothes anymore. She's standing there. Her mouth is open but doesn't appear to be moving, but it's very clearly this deep, guttural, inhuman noises are coming out of it. The screeching and the crying and the screaming of the wind seem to both be coming around you and feeding into your mind. Like it's not just your ears that are hearing it, but it is also what is coming out of her mouth as she stands there with her arms outstretched to the sky and her mouth open. In front of her in the ground, you see something etched in the ground, some sort of circle that she is standing within, and the dagger is firmly thrust into the deck. It is sticking out of it as if she stabbed the wood.
Before she has the chance to notice us, I would like to run up and football tackle her from the waist.
Ooh, okay. We want to surprise attack.
Yeah.
Well, glad somebody did it.
Think. What is your stealth skill? And I will.
Not good.
I will roll her spot hidden.
Ooh, I would like to spin 7 luck to make it a regular success.
Yeah, if you would like to do it, you can succeed on your stealth roll to get up to her. Okay. You spend your 7 luck, and perhaps you kind of circle around. She's clearly focused on the sky above her, and you rugby tackle her to the ground, or at least you try to. Go ahead and roll your brawl.
92!
Ooh.
I don't think I can push on a combat, or at least not in combat. It's a very precarious sneak attack before, the official dexterity order combat is happening. I don't know.
Yeah, so you did a surprise attack and you succeeded on your stealth. So I think she's unable to.
Bonus? Maybe
you
bonus
roll
die?
with a bonus die. I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
One! Critical success.
Yes. Tell me how you critically succeed on this.
Harold, he's not necessarily what you'd consider a brave man, but he does care for one thing, and that is archaeology. And as he sees this dagger having been abused, this thing that should be preserved in a case. What if she degrades some of the engravings upon it? What if we can't study their meanings and the cultural relevancy? And all his fury falls inside of him as he lets loose all of his English gentlemanliness in this one rugby tackle.
All right, roll your damage.
It's not going to be very much. Well, actually, with an extreme success, you get to do your damage and then roll again. So for a D3, okay, here we go. Oh, they don't allow a D3 there. Let me type it in. Roll D3 plus the 3 already. It's a 4 total.
4 total? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you knock her to the ground. She sort of lands back, her head kind of smacks against the moment. And for a moment, you think you've stunned her. And perhaps you have. And she doesn't react immediately. We'll get to that in a second. I will let the other two, because you kind of had that surprise on her. Lois and Nicolette, do you do anything in this moment?
Yeah, so I mean, I had similar instincts to Harold, but seeing as Harold probably jutted out just a little bit before me, I'm still gonna kind of make a run for it, but I'm gonna grab the dagger instead.
Okay. I love when people say that. You do. You run across the markings that she has scratched on the ground. You place your hand around the hilt of the dagger, and in that moment there is kind of a tingle and a bit of an iciness that goes up your arm, and I need you to roll a sanity check.
Oh.
You're so good at these sanity checks. So good. You only lose 1 point of sanity.
Oh man, on a hard success, man, that must have been a lot.
Mm-hmm. Just touching it in general, you lose 1 point.
That's fair. That's fair. I was taking a chance there.
And there's a moment as you hold it, and it sounds like that screaming. It wants to bubble out of you. That cry wants to come out, and you push it down, and you hold the dagger. It's like firmly in there, so you're probably gonna need to take an action to like yank it out of the ground, like it's
totally
deep
fine.
into that bow.
I have strength. If you'd like me to roll strength.
Go ahead. Yeah, give me that strength. It's beautiful. Takes a moment, but you yank it out of the ground. Nicolette, what are you doing?
I would like to attempt to attack myself and attack with myself, and I don't know if I'm going to be as successful as the other two, but I will give it my best shot.
You want to shoot her? Is that? Oh no, you're not a shooter. You're a brawler.
No, I'm just.
Okay, she's on the ground at this point.
No, I'm just going to go in and like
kind of
leap. Yes.
Run in. Are you trying to like pin her down, or are you trying to do some damage?
I was thinking. I'm trying to do some damage.
Okay. Yeah. Go in and give me your brawl.
My brawl is.
It's under F for fighting.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, fighting. Yes. Sorry. Fighting brawl.
Ooh.
You go in, but you kind of skid a little bit on the way there, and in fact,
oh no, in my shoes.
Yeah, your shoes don't have a lot of traction
fabulous
here.
Though.
But I think that is the moment where Harold, you've knocked her to the ground, and she kind of paused for a moment, and her eyes open, and they are not human eyes anymore. They are glowing red, and her face begins to shift and form, and there's kind of a lurching underneath you as you're trying to hold her down. Her jaw protrudes outwards, her mouth expands open, her hair sort of melds back into her body elongates and becomes bulkier and broader as she rips out of her blouse. You sort of see her forearms bursting out of them, her claws merging out of her fingers. Her mouth becomes just a jaw, this giant open maw, and she lunges at you to bite you. And
to Nicolette?
Screaming sound is still coming out of her mouth. I think, yeah, she'll probably lunge at Nicolette. I think that's maybe why you fail, and she'll just...
Oh no!
Oh god.
She'll just lurch at you. I believe you can dodge, correct?
Yeah, you actually get the choice to fight back or to dodge. But if it's a tie in level of success, tie goes to the dodger, but if you're fighting back, the tie goes to the aggressor.
Okay, I will go ahead and dodge at this point because she seems very, very powerful, and these red eyes, I do not want to mess with that. And
yeah, that's very fair. You try and get out of her way. Okay, I'm going to make my roll. I get a 16. I get a hard success.
Okay. And, ooh. So I really try very hard to use the blizzard to my advantage, and I roll, but I slip one way and then they slip the other way, and oh no, she's back.
And she grabs you. You feel her claws dig into your shoulders, and she's going to kind of take a chunk out of your shoulder. She doesn't quite make it to your throat. Well, we'll see. I'm going to roll my damage. Do I also roll my bonus die? My damage bonus?
Is it an extreme success?
I did not get an extreme success. No, I got a hard success.
If it's extreme, you get like the full damage D total plus another roll.
Okay, I think I just rolled the regular damage.
Maybe you just get max damage. Anyway, doesn't matter.
All right. Well, I will roll 1d6 first. So you take 2.
Oh. 2.
That worked out.
2 hit points.
Yeah, I think just 2 hit points. I'm pretty sure I don't roll, because if I roll the other one, it's a lot of damage.
I am still alive. That is also a B+.
Yeah, you got a B+ in living.
9 out of 11.
Great.
I think. But I'm pinned down now. I
think she's on top of you.
Oh no, and her mouth is on my shoulder.
Oh yeah, she's just chewing. She's eating.
I am a chew toy.
Mm-hmm. What do the other two of you want to do?
Help.
Oh, sorry. All of you need to make sanity checks when she transforms into a horrible monster.
Cool.
I failed, so very cool.
Oh, Harold, you hold it together. Okay.
Harold has been waiting for a moment where he would have the power bestowed upon him by watching artifacts be misused.
Okay. It is a regular success, so I'll start with you for Harold. You're still going to lose some, but it's much smaller. I mean, this is pretty horrific. Okay. I can't type today. D4. You lose 2 points of sanity. And the other of you... Yep. 6 points for, I guess, Nicolette, you're first.
Oh no.
Yeah, you get some temporary insanity, and then only 1 point for our lovely Lois.
Excellent.
It's so good at the sanity thing.
I was trying to fix the points, but I have 38.
38. So you are now inflicted by a bout of temporary insanity. So I'm going to just roll a d10 and get some inspiration for what happens to you. 3. Okay, for our bouts of madness, some violence, a red mist of rage fills your vision. You are being consumed. Perhaps that red mist is your blood sprouting out from your neck, but a sense of uncontrollable urge of destruction takes over you. Just probably not a terrible thing right now while you're being attacked.
I think that is good.
Okay, Harold and Lois, what do you two do?
Should we go to Dex order?
Yeah, let's go to Dex order.
I think I'm next. Well, Lois and I are both 70. So just kidding. Go ahead, Lois.
Well, so seeing kind of what's going on here, I successfully got the dagger out. I'm gonna turn around and try to shove it right into the in between the shoulder blades of the doctor.
You want to give this monster a stabby stab?
I'm gonna stab it.
Give her a stabby stab. Yeah. Go ahead and roll your. I guess it's fighting brawl, right?
Yeah, I mean, I do have stats for my switchblade. If you want me to use something like that,
yeah, you can use those stats too. Blade's a blade.
Okay.
It's stabbing.
Do you want me to do brawl first and then switchblade? Like, how would you? Oh no, it rolls at the same time. That's right. Let's see if I. Ha!
Oh, very nice. That is indeed a success. I don't think she's trying to fight back against you at this point. She's just kind of having dinner. So you roll 2 damage. Oh. As you lodge this dagger into her, she sort of pulls back from Nicolette and like turns, and her eyes glow. Her mouth just like there is blood and a little bit of flesh dripping from her teeth at this point as she looks at you now.
For flavoring, if at all possible, can I just tell Nicolette, run?
Yeah, you totally can.
Did Nicolette get released when the stabby stabbed?
Yeah, she's not being pinned down anymore.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank you. Whew.
All right, does that make it Harold's turn?
It does. Harold,
his accent's returned. And with this fury deep inside him, he will take the distance that has been gained as this monster formed and shoot her in the back.
Yeah, that sounds totally fair.
Okay.
Yes. Did I move?
We're all in pretty close quarters, so
okay.
I would think maybe I'd take one little step to the
I
side.
will say if you roll like a 100, you might accidentally shoot.
Naturally.
Great.
Okay, don't worry, I'm great with this handgun.
That's what they all say.
Hey. I wanted that. I thought that might go terribly wrong when I said something so confident, but...
What is your damage?
Yes, he fires the gun, and with a 23 on 40, he rolls 5 damage.
Oof. Very nice. Very nice. Bullets land in her back, and now she is torn between who she wants to tear out, but I think she turns and she sees that you are still... I think you stab it. I assume you're still holding on to the dagger.
Oh, yes.
You didn't like leave it in her back.
No, I mean,
Brutus.
yeah, you know what? Yeah, for flavor, yeah, I'll hold on to it. Let's see what happens.
You are still holding it. She locks eyes with you, looks at the dagger, and like, without even properly moving her mouth to make words, like, you just hear this sort of, give it to me. And she lunges at you.
Great.
She's not trying to bite you this time. She's trying to, like, claw and grab at the dagger.
Cute.
Can I dodge her?
Yeah, you can totally dodge.
That's just a dex roll?
I get an extreme success.
No. What?
Oh no. Just also get an extreme. Oh,
you get a hard success. You get a hard success. So you don't. I think in this instance I don't have the extra bonus die, so I'm only gonna do the one to you. So you take 3 points as she claws at, like, she tries to grab at the dagger, and it kind of like scrapes up your arm and lacerates you, but she's not able to grab it out of your hands.
Great. Ha!
Did Nicolette? I think.
Is it
Like, you are raging. You are like barbarian rage right now.
I would like to use my anger, and I would like to attack her again.
Yeah.
So do that. Okay. So I shall use my. Does it have to be brawl?
Depends on how you want to attack her.
Let me see if I can use my.
What if there's like an object that you pick up and try to smash against her or something?
You could try and like throw her overboard. It's pretty slippery.
Yes, I would. I guess I cannot use my education against her. My education.
Not directly. I think if you wanted to come up with, like, I'm gonna make a reference here, like a convoluted, like, miraculous ladybug plan, where it's like a Rube Goldberg machine, you could certainly try and work on something like that. But I would say you are you're raging right now, so take that as it will.
Okay.
Like, you are seeing red in a very
Oh right, temporarily insane.
Yeah.
And I'm temporary. Okay, so I will use my darn it, I have nothing. I guess I will do a brawl if I must. If there's no other thing I can use, there is nothing. Okay. Dexterity.
Roll a brawl.
Yeah, especially if you're temporarily insane where you must cause violence.
Brawl! Oh, this is very bad, very bad, very bad. It is a très mal.
I think instead, as you reach towards her,
She attacked me.
yeah, she reaches out and she just grabs you by the neck,
Oh no, the
pulls
neck.
you in, and, like, has her claws on you, and you take another 4 points of damage.
Oh no. Okay. I am.
And she's like holding you up like villain style, as she looks, but she's still looking at you, Lois.
Drop her.
You trying to intimidate her?
Uh-huh.
Oh, give me an extreme intimidate.
It probably won't happen,
She's
but
in
you know.
monstrous Hulk right now.
You can do it.
Your friend.
Tell her, Lois.
Ah!
I mean, you could push it for a success, which might not be as bad, because she might drop her.
I realized my mistake as the player. Yeah, I'm gonna push it because I have enough luck to do that. But I realized that the word that I
Technically,
used.
in combat, you're not supposed to push, but keeper's
Oh.
rules.
Whatever. I'll let you do it.
Okay. Happy not to. It's fine.
Okay. Yeah. No. Let's say you can.
Okay.
So you say drop her, and you look at her, and she, like, if her face could smile, it gets wider. Her teeth shows, and she throws you. Nicolette, she clubs you. We're gonna see how well this goes. She's quite strong. right now. I get a 39. Can you roll? Can you roll your luck to see where you end up?
Did you take 6 in one hit and you have 11 hit points
Yeah.
earlier?
No, I took 4.
Good. So if you take
you took
6 or
4.
more, you would have a major wound.
Yes, I would. I now have an E in school. I'm failing hit points. Okay, so, so I just my luck, it is not very.
Your luck is I think maybe run out.
Can I do anything? Can I use? Is there like
Yeah, what do you want to try and do? Because you're on a trajectory to go overboard.
Can I use
She dropped her.
Dexterity to reach out and grab some
To just try and hold on to something like the side.
Pipe?
Maybe yeah. Give me roll your dex.
deck. Do I have any points that I can spend, like a magic point?
Does someone want to try and like catch her or help her?
In luck, you just can't re-roll during combat.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I will spend the luck so that I grab onto the side.
Okay. You are now dangling off of the edge of the boat.
And heavily injured.
And heavily injured.
Am I still enraged?
Of attacking her? No.
No?
You are not. You will need to lift yourself back onto the boat, but it's quite slippery right now. Harold, Lois, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna try and save my friend.
Okay, well, good. You do that. I'm gonna go toe to toe with this thing. Let's
All
go.
right.
Okay.
You want to go
Alright.
first? Try to save Nicolette.
More
Yeah.
than anything, I die valiantly. This is the one time that perhaps it's more important to save a human than an object. And I'll run to the edge of the boat and try and grab her arm and pull her back up.
Are you gonna? I assume you're not gonna resist at all.
Me? No.
Yeah. But give me a strength, and you can have a bonus die.
Oh, that's
'cause
really
she's-
nice because
'cause
I
she's
only have
helping you.
50. Oh, extreme success.
You like one-handed lift her up.
Woo!
We must save these artifacts.
And your friends.
You are someone on my side to save the artifacts and nothing more. He's still got the pipe hanging out of his mouth and the smoking gun in the other hand. Kill the monster who's... what's the word for disrupting? Desanctifying this beautiful dagger! Anyway, pep talk.
But is that so I should attack again? But
Let's go back to Lois first and see what she does.
So I'm still holding on to the dagger. I'm not
Yeah.
letting go because I realize that that's what she wants. If I let go, there's going to be a bad problem. So I'm going to take
Maybe
out
she won't kill you
my...
if you let go.
Huh?
Maybe she won't kill you if you let go.
Well, let's see what happens here for a second. I take out my switchblade. Like dual wielding here. And I'm going to try to like...
I love it.
I know, right? Try to slice her throat open.
Ooh, all right. Yeah. Give me your brawl. Or your switchblade. Sorry.
Boop doop boop boop. Son of a dingle! Like, come on!
Ooh. She jukes deftly out of the way. And Nicolette and Harold, what do you two do? She'll probably lunge.
I think
at
she
you
gets
and
to
attack
hit
again.
us, but I want to try and not let her hit Nicolette. Because I use my turn to go help Nicolette.
That's right. Okay, so you use your turn. I think the doctor will get to attack, so she's going to lunge at you after you lunge at her with the switchblade. Once again, I think she's decided, you know what, you're not going to drop the dagger, so we're just going to kill you. And then you'll drop the dagger because it'll be on your corpse. So she's going to make a roll, and you can... 65, that's not great on my end.
I'd like to dodge if possible.
Yeah, you can go ahead and dodge. You succeed. You actually succeed beautifully because I failed. So not only do you get a hard success, you get a complete success as she lunges at you, and I think she stumbles past you and out of the way, probably clearing a beautiful shot for, or maybe even putting her closer to Nicolette if you want to go in and attack.
If possible, can I pull the dagger out as she's like pulling away from me? I'm still holding on to that thing.
Yeah, you didn't lose it at all. Like, it's not in her back or anything. You're still holding it.
Right.
She's trying to get it, but she didn't succeed.
So now I am coming up behind her. Is it my turn?
Yeah, she's like stumbled back. It's your turn, Nicolette.
So I go towards her and I take my heel and I take one of the stilettos and I go like to the back.
Can Nicolette like step forward using me as a human shield? I'm really worried about her health points. Oh,
sweet. We got some rerolls.
I do have a channel reward that David Flagel has gifted a reroll to Steph and a reroll to me.
That'll be good.
Thank you.
That'll be good.
Thank you, David.
I don't think you can help melee a human shield.
Okay. That's fair.
You could maybe interfere later if she gets attacked.
She's probably gonna die. It's fine.
Would this be dexterity?
I think it's still like brawl stabbing. Is that a separate brawl skill?
It's brawl.
Yeah, I think it's still brawl fighting.
Yay, brawl!
Either that or it'd be one of your other fighting skills, which are lower.
No. Do I just reroll?
No, you failed. Nice though. You had a 69. As you attempt to stab her, it doesn't go well for you. Oh, do you want to reroll?
Right.
Yeah, you have a reroll from chat. That's right. Sorry.
David Flagel demands it.
I think so. I think I should reroll.
You're infused with the energy from beyond. The cheers of hundreds of people call out to you.
Okay.
Within the storm swirl above.
And I wish I could charm them, but I can't. It was brawl. I will brawl again. Brawl. Oh no, it's not.
I mean, it was closer. It was a better roll.
Thank you, chat, for trying to save.
You try.
Oh.
You try. But it does not quite go so well.
I go down with a shoe in my hand.
So fashionable.
I think we're back to Harold and then
Well, technically, I didn't tell you this rule before, but when you shoot a weapon, it goes first in the round, so I will shoot my weapon.
well, there you go.
And here we go, handgun. This time, straight in the monster's eye. And I failed horribly.
That's pretty low. Do you want to reroll? You've got a
I
reroll.
shall use my gifted from the storm clouds above reroll.
You don't want to get from the storm clouds.
Okay, from the water below. I
With
get
a
a hard
16.
success. And,
Hard
and
success.
then a D10 on the weapon. Just a 2. Just a 2.
Just a 2.
Just a little 2.
No, it's it could be better.
I shot the ear.
You shoot side of her face, she snarls. But she's still very fixed on this dagger. Lois, what do you do?
So still hold the dagger. I'm kind of like, and learning from kicking down her door earlier, I'm gonna go for that. That I call it a Spartan kick. The hoo-yah!
Yeah,
right in the center of the stomach. Try to kick her.
Cynthia, you were gifted a reroll by Critter Nation.
Thank you.
So kind of you.
Well, let's hope this works because I might need that. Is she close? I should ask for the proximity of her being to the edge of the ship.
I think we can say she's gotten closer. Yeah.
So the Spartan kick would definitely
Yeah. I like this idea enough that if you succeed, you punt her over.
Awesome. I'm gonna go with the unarmed attack.
We'll say it might be an extreme success to fully punt her over. Ooh, a success. You get her all the way to the railing. Like, her back is up against it. You smack her into it, like solar plexus, knocking the wind out of her, despite this monstrous, large form. If you want to reroll to see if you do better, but I'm probably going to make you keep the reroll.
Can I? Oh, you're gonna make me keep the reroll? Oh.
How nice should I be? Should I let you keep the higher roll? Okay, I'll let you keep the higher roll.
Thank you!
This will be advantage just for you.
Critter Nation is for you.
I'll let you keep the higher roll. Or the lower roll, I guess, the better one. You get her all the way up. She takes another 2 points of damage. She is very much, I think, in the position of like it is possible to topple her over. And I will let Nicolette go before she does.
Okay. I would like to get out of the way. Is that possible?
Yeah, if you just want to run, you can. Like, you can.
I would like to go down some stairs now.
Get to the lifeboat.
I will point out you are still temporarily insane, and your temporary insanity was uncontrollable rage.
So what do I have? I could stealth, go down to the stairs, or I could
You can come for me.
I can use my dexterity to creep back towards away from
you could, I mean, if you wanted to, like, if you're trying to, I'd say you could totally just get away. Like, that's not a big deal. But because you lost the 6 at once and you're still in that temporary insanity, like, your urge is violence of some kind. So it doesn't have to be a brawl or an attack. Like, if you wanted to, like, trip her, she is very clearly along the edge of this railing. So if you wanted to just try and, like, hoist her over in some way.
Is that brawl?
It'd probably be a brawl, but you could even roll it as a flat strength, I think, just to kind of...
Okay, strength. That's much better.
Tackle her.
Tackle her.
Give my strength. Push her off.
I mean, I have an idea if you fail.
Spin the luck.
You could spend 8 luck.
Okay, I'm going to spend 8 luck. Spending 8 luck. Yay.
Because otherwise I had a great idea if you failed.
Oh, yeah?
You were just going to knock her over with you.
Yeah.
I'll just... Yeah, can I do that?
Do you want to go over the boat?
Would it kill her?
It'll knock her into the ocean. We'll have to leave that to a later decision to see if she would die.
I would like to do that then.
Okay. You want to go down with her?
I would go down with her. I would go down fighting.
Narrate
for
this
all
moment
of
for
the
me.
children. I say this is for all of the children in my village. And I scream and I run with my one heel, so I'm clumping like this towards the edge, and I reach out my hands and I shove as hard as I can. And
she grabs you.
She grabs me, but I push off with the other foot, and we go in together.
There's a moment you careen over the side. There's a splash as you land in the cold water, and we shall leave your fate as yet to be determined. And hers, perhaps, we do not know, but the storm is still raging above you, Harold and Lois, as you watch them fall into the cold, dark depths of the ocean.
Nicolette. No, not you too. Just like those other French children.
And as you stand there, it will begin to subside. You realize you look down, and where you've been fighting, you damaged the scratch marks and the circles that she was standing in. The storm slowly begins to clear. The water becomes calmer. It happens surprisingly quickly. It's still cold, but it becomes a normal cold. And you feel a creep as you're holding. Something changes, Lois, as you're holding this dagger in your hand. The quietness, that sort of tingle that you felt when you first picked it up, becoming louder. You should make another sanity check.
Uh-oh.
Me too?
Nope.
Good.
Okay. It subsides. You lose 1 point of sanity. That's it.
Fine.
Oh no, that was extreme success. Sorry, not a hard. You don't lose a point of sanity. It subsides. You're able to push past it. The screaming goes away.
I think this needs to go into a very locked down box immediately.
Sure. That's right. Do you think we've rid ourselves of this monster?
Well,
The water is calm.
with any luck, Nicolette took care of the last of that.
Oh, sweet Nicolette. She sacrificed herself for us.
For the children.
For the children. Yes. We'll have to donate the proceeds of this dagger's sale to that village in France. Naturally, now that the doctor's out of the way, I will be the arbiter of where these items go. I'm the next most knowledgeable in these things.
That remains to be seen. I believe that we should probably dock first and meet the professor.
It's not like anyone else had an important stake in these items. Someone with a lot of clout.
You just like push Harold over. It was tragic. They both fell in the ocean.
Roll for it.
I mean, you don't have to. I mean, I was joking, but if you want to, you're welcome to.
I mean, let me phrase it this way. I think Lowe's would push him against the railing for a second and go, I think you want to revisit that thought, as you are not the one in control of this area.
When you do that, Harold definitely tries to kiss you because he definitely misinterprets everything that's happening here.
Oh my god!
And let me just roll for charm, and I fail.
Can I dodge that? I clicked dodge. Oh, I failed on a dodge anyway, so that was like an awkward moment between the two of them.
Oh yeah, it's real awkward.
Slobber your ear.
What are you doing?
No, did I get that? You pinned me. You pinned me, and you said, "Guess who's in charge here?"
Not like that.
I'm so sorry. No, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. We just saw a friend die, and we're just friends, and I know that. And I just wanted. I was open to the possibility, but only if you were. And now things are weird. So let's go back to London.
I think that is where we will bring this story to a close.
Yeah.
Nicolette is somewhere. Perhaps she has found a greater calling.
I am giving some.
And I'm sure this dagger will never cause problems ever again. Someone in chat figured it out pretty early on. It was Ithaca. It is a who is
Wait, save it for the Patreon.
The old ones. I wanted to. It's fine. I will tell you more about them later.
If you find us on patreon.com/goodtimesociety, we're going to do a little debrief chat there right now. Oshi will be there.
Bark.
As Harold goes back to his lonely cottage with his dog that waited patiently for him. Lauren, do you want to lead us in some outros of where people can be found on the internets?
I'm Lauren, or you can find me at Random Tuesday upon the internets. I stream on my own channel. I occasionally play RPGs on the internet, and I make magic for a living. So you can come hang out with me on all the places on social media if you like any of those things. Yeah, it's lovely to be here. Thank you for having me. Becca, or do you want to go last?
Thank you for having me. Yes, I'm Becca. If you're here, you might know that. Hit that follow button. You can also find all the things we do and all the previous 23 episodes of the Calyx on the YouTube channel I'm putting in chat right now. And if you're watching the video on YouTube, well, you already found it. Good job. And you can find me tomorrow on the Black Die Society, which is an official D&D campaign set in Ravenloft. And I hope to see you there. Yeah. Cynthia.
Oh, hey y'all, I'm Cynthia Marie. You guys can find me on Twitter at CynDancer or Instagram Cynthia__Marie. I am on LA by Night, which is a Vampire the Masquerade game. We just got cleared to do a season 5, so stay tuned for that. I'm really excited. Some other people are kind of sort of in it too as NPCs. So I just kind of wanted to say, like, come check us out. If you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube, seasons 1 through 4. You just got to type in LA by Night, you can catch up.
There's also a lot of fabulous other like YouTube videos that like do like short and condensed version if you don't have umpteenth hours to watch it. I'm also going to be on a bunch of other shows. I have a charity stream that I'm going to be doing this weekend on Saturday. And then I'm also going to be starting another Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle coming up in June. So just go look at my social media. I do a lot of spooky gaming, and I do some D&D on the side. So come join me.
Steph.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm Steph Woodburn. You can find me at Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, on Twitch. I'm going to stream after this. So I'll be there in like 10 or 15 minutes. And yeah, this was such a pleasure to play with you ladies again.
This was so much fun. Steph, always a pleasure to play with you. We have a long history of playing games together, and I thank you so much for coming on. Cynthia, thank you. And Lauren, wow. You are such an amazing game master, and it's such a pleasure to have you running the table tonight.
This is very fun.
Appreciate all of you. Thank you again. Thanks one more time to our sponsor, Chaosium, for sponsoring this show. You can use that discount code Calyx2021 if you want the discount. We want you to have it. And with that, we will bid you adieu. Bye, everybody.